Hi, boys and girls, lads and lassies, and welcome back to Let's Talk Geeky with a new guest, Roman of the Empire. Hello, Roman.
Woohoo!
Whoa, cheers.
Welcome.
Welcome.
And you've obviously got the rest of the usual crew, Windology, Jim the Viking, Mr. AWK, and Archer Colin. So, the gang's all here with a new one, and is he going to actually survive the crowd? You're with
Two
me,
men
Steve.
enter, one man leave.
Yes.
Or one woman enter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men leave.
My only
In all
question
fairness,
actually would,
Wendy, you've still got us outnumbered.
my only question actually would be: is that Latin or is it Latin or Greek, depending on which part of the Roman Empire? But let's not get technical just this early.
Salve.
Just so you're aware, Archer Collins is our historian in the panel. So, big news this week: the Ripperverse.
Yeah.
I finally got my order in.
It looks
And the
exciting.
UK stuff. Looking
Brilliant.
forward to that.
Excellent.
Well, the last time I checked, he was at 2.2 million.
Yeah, let me pull it up real fast.
Basically, I just think it's absolutely stunning that. Come on. Or maybe if you spell Ripper properly. I put rigger, and that's nothing. There it's there. Let's view the campaign and put it properly so my system's actually working for me because it was running slow the other day. 2.24 million.
That is so awesome.
25,257
I am so
orders.
happy for him. That is
He's
so
talking
cool.
And 69 days to go on the campaign, so that's
Yeah.
incredible.
It
Yeah,
is.
that is so impressive.
It is very impressive, and
Most impressive.
I'm looking forward to receiving it. T-shirt and all. No surprise that I got a T-shirt.
Cool.
So the question is: are we going to be nice and not compare that to the Third Sister lightsaber, or are we going to kick Disney?
Compare it to what?
You're not saying this. You know,
Yeah.
HasLab. Yeah, HasLab.
Hasbro Labs, they do crowdfunding.
Oh, they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
They did one for the lightsaber.
oh yes, I saw that one. Yes,
Yeah.
they had to withdraw it because they didn't even get the 5,000. They got something like 1.2 thousand.
Yeah, it made just over
Wasn't even close.
25% of what it needed at the end.
Hey, creative blue collar guy, welcome.
Hello.
Hey,
Welcome
John.
to the chat. Hail you, Grandma. She's in the chat as well.
Yes.
Yep.
We're just going through everybody and Grandma. Hi.
Hey, Grand Moff.
So, what
What have
is
we been
everybody
watching?
expecting from Isom? High hopes? What you
I have high
expect?
hopes.
I've got high
I
hopes.
think Jarek July, he knows an awful lot about comics, just as a baseline, and two, he wants to produce something that people are excited about. And
Yep.
I mean, he's already got the buzz. The buzz is phenomenal right now. But this is a man who understands comic lore and how to build things. This isn't his first rodeo, his first comic book, but not his first rodeo. He's done a lot of other things. And so my hopes for this are just right up here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was saying when we were on the other day is I stopped buying comics a while back. Spectacular Spider-Man just sort of went, nope. I buy the occasional one here. I got the Rabbis one. I've got other ones in there. I've enjoyed them. I got the Ash v Evil Dead. I've enjoyed. But I've been watching Eric's for a while, and I love his take on when he's talking about comic books. He does other stuff, but his comic books, he knows his stuff, and it's a case of sitting there going, oh, I never read that one, but that sounds good. Even when I'm saying I'm not buying another comic, you're sitting there going, who's clicking?
Who's
Same.
clomping and clicking?
Who's trying to
Jim,
make
leave
something?
your hammer alone.
Gonna need new eardrums.
Right, well, I'm muffed. I muffled my two dogs because they were barking just before they came on. You two, stop that! But they're basically, I fed them that many treats, they're actually sitting there going, just so they would stop barking. But no, Eric's stuff. It's every time I listen to him, I'm sitting there thinking, I think I'll start reading comics again. And I've got very high hopes for it. I'm so looking forward to it. It's one of the few. But as I said, the rabbi stuff. I loved the stuff he did, and all the extras. I've got the
He's so
picture of
much fun.
what it was.
Yeah, he's so much fun.
Uh-huh. So I'm so looking forward to this. It's going to be an event that's coming through. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to be reviewing it. So they are.
Yeah.
We're all going to be sitting reading it, and then we're all going to say, right, what did you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely, it's going to be across the board.
Do you know the last comics I bought were Lobo comics? I love Lobo.
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether to be happy or disappointed that they haven't done a Lobo movie because they have to have the right person. It's got to be the right person to do
yeah,
Lobo,
it definitely does, and
and a very
I
big
think
person.
I think the Lobo character, it definitely it has to also be done right. You can imagine Tycho Waititi's humor with Lobo would not work. That would kill it.
No.
It has to have the right humor because Lobo is a funny character.
Oh, he's a
But
great character.
it's not just a case of he's just funny, like, he does silly jokes and stuff like that. He's a funny character by almost playing it serious and then just doing the typical man things and just saying things off the top. You're sitting there thinking,
Lobo strikes me as kind of like a classic Kurt Russell type character. He's kind of got that sarcastic, gruff
man
sort of
thing.
but yeah, definitely.
Except a lot bigger.
And a lot.
DC can't even manage their prime time characters though. They're the top three they haven't done a good job with. I don't know how they would pull off a character like Lobo, who a lot of people aren't familiar with anyway. I mean, we know who Lobo is, but your normie person may have no idea.
No, it's true. It's a lot. I'm not a lot of people. I can speak today. Not a lot of people that I've spoken to know who Lobo is. But I just sort of stumbled on him in a comic store years and years ago, and I was just like, okay, you're coming home with me. I like this.
Just going to see Grant, Miranda, stick around. I got a pick of the week you might enjoy.
Ooh.
See, the way I see Lobo, I thought it was Lemmy from Motorhead at first.
What was that?
I thought it was Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yes, he has a Lemmy. Yes. Well,
that's him. So good.
Bless him. We should have had Lemmy playing Lobo. That would have been awesome. Bless his heart. I still love you, mate.
See, when they did the animated series and the local character turned up, I thought that was a good rendition of it. Because sometimes when they bring the character in, even in the animation series is quite good. Because they bring him in as a villain of the week type thing, they change it. And I actually thought the Lobo character was quite good.
I'd have to watch that. I haven't seen it.
It's definitely. I like the Lobo character just for the simple fact is it's a fun bad guy. It's not.
He just does. No, exactly.
He's just a fun guy. He thinks I'm the hero here. I'm the hero here, boys. Why you don't?
Exactly.
Look, as a hero, I think we should actually just steal all their stuff and beat them up.
Well, he's a bounty hunter. He's a bounty hunter.
Exactly.
So yeah.
When he comes in and he says, "I'm the hero here," you just do what I say, but you're going to do things that are wrong. No, that's not the point. You know what I mean?
I think Can makes a good point a little there. Would Kurt Russell be, a good choice to be Lobo if he was younger?
He would have been, yeah. Had they made that film a while back? Yeah, I think Kurt Russell has the right delivery, a bit like his delivery in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
And
I was
Snake
thinking
Plissken.
exactly
I was
the same
actually
thing.
gonna say
Jack
Tango and
Russell.
Cash. Tango and Cash is where
Yes.
he's spot on all the time.
But don't
No,
forget
see,
Snake Plissken.
Little China, the Big Trouble in Little China is
Yeah,
definitely the
but
thing.
don't forget Snake Plissken from.
Oh God, I almost forgot about that. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, a mix of those guys, of those characters, as far as the portrayal goes. I think James Gunn could actually pull it off as a director.
Yeah.
The work he did with Guardians and the work he did on the Suicide Squad, he's able to do that humor in the movies, and it shouldn't be in every movie, of course. Although Marvel has decided it needs to be in every movie, but it. In the Lobo environment, he would be, I think, be a perfect director for that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah. Yeah, it
That's
needs a James
Lobo,
Wan.
Colin, that's Lobo.
Yeah.
That's-
Do they have a
that's a-
Lobo Funko Pop, which would be hilarious, but I have never seen one.
I don't actually think I have
I'll go and check in a minute.
the Littlest Lobo.
Hey.
But that's obviously just
The
one.
Littlest
of the-
Lobo.
That actually looks like a villain from either the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games
Yeah,
on Super
that's obviously
Nintendo
the-
or River City Street Fights.
Yeah, that's obviously the animated one of Lobo, because there is a lot of more, let's say, scarier Lobos. Because there's another one which is obviously it takes you away from the animated one. So it's,
Yes, Wendy, they have got one.
Oh, he's
Funko.
expensive.
Oh my God.
now there's a wee bit darker Lobo.
Just give me a
That's
second.
a nice one.
Yeah, it is,
That's
isn't
nice.
it?
Yeah, there's a couple of different yeah, that's good. I like that one.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at my comics in a while. I've
But
I had a
Lobo
whole
could
bunch of
be-
stuff shipped over
Yeah.
when I moved to the UK, and I hadn't seen my Lobo comics in like, oh my God, like 12 years. And I wanted to hug them.
See, the thing is with Lobo, is Lobo could be played dark, or he can be played fun.
Yeah.
Because he's that type of character, he can go either way.
The Lobo that appeals to me the most is the one with quite a
Lobo Funko.
dark sense of humor. Quite a
There's a
dark
Lobo
sense. Oh,
Funko.
there he is.
Oh yes, I would
I
definitely
need
say
that.
this is Kurt Russell.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just dye Kurt Russell's hair black, give him a little bit of Deadpool makeup, and he's ready to go.
Evidently,
Yep.
that is a cool Funko, that one, I must
That
admit.
is.
Yeah.
I might have to have that. Yeah.
There's only 3 left in stock. You better grab it up, Wind.
Yes, defo.
The hunt for Lobo is on.
Hey,
I got my soundboard working, by the way, for people, just in case, because it had actually broken the last time, and with the sound going dead quiet, I ended up fixing that while I was trying to get my sound.
Well done.
The unfortunate thing is, I can hear my croaky voice. It's almost as if I've been talking too much over the last couple of days.
It sounds like you had about 5 bouts of COVID, but hey, that's just fair odds for a Scotsman.
That's just how we all talk. Mm-hmm.
What's up?
So, anybody watching anything fun this week, or even anything not so fun, like the Orville?
Well,
Oh,
we had a few people biting here.
Okay.
I'll start if people don't mind. Not watched, but I think it is one of you culprits here in the panel. I picked up on Audible. We are Bob. We are Legion.
it is fun,
And
isn't it?
it is absolutely amazing. And I crunched the first 2 books in 7 days.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
The Bob verse is superb. Do you know? I picked up the first book of the Belgariad. I finally finished Belgarath the Sorcerer. Finished it, and I was going to start Belgariad because I've only got book 1, and I get a book a month. I'm on the setup. However, I was about to pick up book 2 to start, and then book 5 of Dungeon Crawler Carol turned up. So I picked that
Yeah,
up.
I heard as well. It's like,
Dungeon
okay,
Crawler
I
Carol.
do understand fully.
Book 3 has got the critical drinker as a character, and I love Dungeon Crawler Carol. So as soon as a book comes out, I go snatch and what. I'm going to actually re-listen to the whole 5 books again just to catch up and redo it. I'm just going to wait until I've got all 5 books of the Belgariad. So give me a wee while.
No, that makes sense because when the first time I actually picked up the Belgariad, when I was a very young boy, went into the library literally 9 o'clock every morning. As soon as the opener is like, "Do you have the next book? Is it back in? Is it back in? Can I get it? Can I get it?" Because we didn't have audiobooks back then, really, because they were meant for the people with hearing issues and everything. So you could only get the physical copy, but obviously it was a popular one. But I was non-stop reading the book, page to page. Even my mom and dad was like, "Put that freaking book down. It's lunchtime. You're supposed to have food, not read."
The first time I read the Belgariad, I'd read a couple of fantasies. I'd read Tolkien, and I found Tolkien very dry. And it's typical when you're reading it, your head is telling you what those words mean. Because I was young when I read Tolkien, and so anytime like Aragorn, I was reading it going Aragorn, and then in the head it was just because that's the way I was reading it because I was young, and all these names just didn't make sense to me. So I made a name up. So when I was reading the name, all I could hear in my head was Aragorn, Aragorn, and it's silly because obviously I found it dead dry because he just over explained.
But it's still amazing how much your brain paints in the corner of a picture.
Yeah.
When you read something.
Once I read it later on, a few years later, I could read it. Let's say I could read better. And it was actually a lot more interesting. And it wasn't as dry because obviously your tastes change. But after I'd read Tolkien and that, I was talking to my ex's friend, and she just loved fantasy books, and she was the one that recommended the Belgariad to me. And I'm sitting there thinking, I asked her, I said, "What's it like? Is it good?" Because I read Tolkien and it was dead dry. And she said, "Nope, read this." And I enjoyed it. And since then, I went on to the Malloreon and stuff like that. And I picked up the Wheel of Time when that came out, and I've been rereading Wheel of Time since I think I've got the first 5 books of mine are first editions, but they're falling apart because I reread them. The rest of them are all just copies. But the first 5 books I kept, the rest of them went back to the charity shop after that.
But if I'm going to put something forward here, I believe all of us in this panel, and probably even in the chat, we have a similar stories. Like, okay, we like fantasy, but hey, suddenly a little bit of sci-fi slips in on the radar and everything. Because my mom was the biggest inspiration to pick up books like that. There was a TV show not too long ago about elves trying to save a dying world tree. And there was another one where there was like a guide teaching a farm boy that, hey, you're actually the savior of the world. But it was more sci-fi.
Of the galaxy.
Yeah, we have that. And I'm pretty certain that everyone has stumbled up on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just out of the blue. You picked up a sci-fi book or a fantasy book, but somehow down the line, you just ended up in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yay!
I tried to pick up a copy. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just actually reading that. Excited about the future of Dread after an interview with Rebellion CEO who owns the rights with Lindeberg. And I've not seen that one. I need to check Lindeberg's channel.
I need to catch up on Lindeberg's YouTube channel. I haven't seen content from him in a long time now.
It gets
go ahead.
The guy that now owns Rebellion Comics also runs a channel.
Somebody's fan is on.
Somebody's fan is on, Alex,
That's a
and
necessity.
Colin, you cut out.
Oh, well, I always do.
I think it was just fan that actually overwrote you. Sorry, what were you saying?
Comics. The guy that Lindy Beige is also has a channel called the Modern Knight, and he does a lot of reenactment stuff. And he's got horses, and he's actually got horses. And actually does horsey stuff. He's very, if you're into history, he's another very good history channel.
Yeah. So you need to get Lindy Beige together with Chadiversity and this guy.
They
Yeah.
they did a role playing game. They did a role play with Lindy Beige. I think Shad was running it. Lindy Beige, Modern Knights, Scholar Gladiatoria, and I can't for the life remember who the other one was.
I don't know.
Roman,
I've not seen that one.
Roman, what were you going to say then?
Yes, sorry,
earlier?
we actually overwrote you with something. It was.
You
That's
need
fine.
to.
I'm
you
the
need
new
to,
guy. I have
Yeah.
no authority here.
No, you do need to, punch your way through.
Roman, I run the channel and I have no authority here, so it makes no difference.
No, we had talked. I think I was in chat last time. We were talking about the book Cyborg, which was the inspiration for the Bionic Man, the $6 million man.
Yeah.
And I'm still hunting for a copy of that. That's like under $40. It's a really expensive book. And I've looked, and it's impossible to find an affordable version. I would take one without a cover, but I can't find it.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to get some stuff. I was doing the same. There was a DVD box set I'd been looking for, Out of the Unknown, BBC at their finest. It's really old sci-fi.
I still haven't managed to download them. I've got some of those downloaded, but I haven't got around to watching them yet.
Well, basically, I'd seen a couple of the episodes online on YouTube. There's occasional bits and pieces from it, but some British actors, they started in it, and it is obviously before a lot of things were known about space. So let's say creative liberties were taken. So there was people in all the planets in the solar system, and the way all the planets had atmosphere and stuff like that. But a lot of people actually the sci-fi was good, but I thought I need to get that box set, and I looked for it, and I saw it on eBay last year, and the cheapest one was something like £88. I'm not paying that for a DVD. This year I saw it on for £40 for the box set, and I snapped it up because it was so cheap at £40. Cheap.
I know. There's cheap, and then there's cheap. Yeah.
There's cheap, then don't tell the wife cheap.
Yeah.
But
I'm on the coffee too tonight. We had our tea a bit earlier tonight, our supper, and do you know the sound? Do you know that old GIF of one of the Imperial walkers keeling over to the left when Luke trips him up, and he goes sideways? That was me after supper. I just completely crashed and fell asleep. I was like gone. Darren said you were just like one of those trees falling in the forest, when it splinters and just goes over. So I'm on the coffee now to wake up.
Hello, horse. Got new name on the chat.
Yay!
Sorry, Roman. Twice we interrupted you. we do that quite a lot here.
It's fine. It's good. It's good.
You just need to shout over the top.
So let's see. We were talking about I think what we're watching, if we're anything fun. And you and I, Peter, are both watching For All Mankind. I don't know if anybody else is watching that.
I got a recommendation from WK Alex. He was the one that recommended it to me. Very happy.
Yeah, I didn't watch this week's episode. I don't know how okay, so is everybody up to speed on the show, or mostly up to speed?
I'm okay with spoilers.
I don't mind.
Well, I loved season 1 and 2 so much. Season 3 has been a bit of a slog, though.
It's bringing in the Russians as the baddies, and
they screwed over Ed again last week. I was like, no, not again. Seriously. Poor
every
Ed.
single time. You're sitting there thinking he's going to do it. Yeah.
And it's like, what, 30 years later, and he gets screwed over again. And I hate the kid with him. I hate not Gordo. Gordo's son. I wish he'd eject him into space. I don't like that kid.
Yeah. Someone's going to have a punch up on the Martian
I know he's meant to be dislikable because, but I think it's. See, everybody keeps. We were talking to Mega Geek, and he says he'd heard about it. It's very woke, and I says, as Alex said, it's done it in a right way. It is a what if, which changed the way the history happened. So the women being in the workforce was brought like 20 years earlier, so which changed other things because and then you've got more technology, so it changed it. And as I said, it is done right because, as Alex says, it's part of the story, so it doesn't seem forced. And the good thing is, just because they've brought the women forward, they've not trashed the guys, so the guys are still the jocks, the space pilots, but you've also got some of the women who are the same, but you've also got some of the guys who are very quiet and sensitive, and I mean it works.
No, they didn't sacrifice the male characters for the female characters.
Exactly.
It was just it's a good melding of the two, and the social issues that they discuss are actually, and you're 100% right. They work in context of the time period that the show was in.
Yeah.
You know, this was the 60s and 70s. It was a different era, and these things were issues in the 60s and 70s. So, yeah, I was worried about it, and then I wasn't. So
yeah, I know. Initially, I was thinking because it was Alec that actually says it's done the right way. Watch it, and I watched the first couple of episodes, and I thought, and I've recommended it a few times.
The question is, Roman,
people who are not right into fantasy, and it says it's based on the space race. It's a what if the Russians got there first, and it goes from there. And I've recommended it because it's so well done.
Yes.
The question is, Roman, where are they going to go after this series? That's the question.
If I were a betting man, and I am, I would say season 3 is going to be the end of it. I could be wrong, but
because they would need to go into the future, and I don't think it's.
And these characters are aging out as well. Ed is no spring chicken at this point, and they don't really have younger characters that anybody. I mean, you have the side characters. You have Gordo's son, who I don't like. You have the girl who works at NASA, whose name I don't remember.
Which I don't like. I don't like her either.
I don't like her either. I also don't like what they did to Margot. Margot, who lived and breathed at NASA, literally lived at NASA in her office. They took her on in season. I don't know if it started in season 3, in season 2, or if it was season 3.
At the end of season 2,
but her story arc doesn't make sense for that character. She would not be doing the things that she did. It just absolutely doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't like with the way they brought the Russians in because it diminished her character up, and it just I didn't like it. I could understand. See, the good thing is that for the first 2 seasons, especially, the Russians were the baddies based on what NASA was doing. So it wasn't they were the bad guys we had to fight. It was they're doing the same as us. They're the ideologically different, so we need to beat them. It wasn't a case of we have to fight them, but it seemed it's almost as if they're treating towards that. We're showing them as the baddies here. It was a case of they were the baddies out with the system, so we had to beat them. So they were the ones we were racing against all the time. Now they've decided to bring them in.
Sounds a bit like Bobbyverse, if I'm going to have to be honest.
It's the Bobverse. You've got the Mexican probe and you've got the Chinese probe as well as the American probe. It's a similar idea to that, but this one, the in the Bobverse, you've got the Mexican probe is the one. It's the other one. It was the the Australian probe, not the Chinese probe, the Australian probe. It's sort of out there and he's racing against, but you don't hear anything about. It's the same idea with all mankind. The Russians were just these are the ones you're having to beat, and you know why the motivation for NASA to do certain things because they're trying to beat the Russians.
They're off. And they're off.
Don't tell me you didn't walk them enough this
No,
afternoon.
I think what happened is my wife away at the other end of the house said treat, and they heard it. Whoa.
Anybody
so
that's
cute.
interested in if you're interested in For All Mankind, I would suggest, if you haven't, you possibly see if you can watch an old 1980s, 70s or 80s, a very short-lived one called Star Cops.
Yeah.
If you've not seen,
I'm not familiar with that.
It's
Starcraft,
Star Cops.
Star Cops.
Yeah, it's it
Take
only
it
lasts
away,
about-
Colin.
It only lasted about 6 episodes, unfortunately, but it's basically near future, very hard sci-fi to the point that at about second or third episode in, they get over the fact of having to try to film on pretend they're on a space station by having the interstellar police interplanetary space. The main character gets space sick, so they move to the base on the moon. But it's set about 50 years in the future now, and it's about
Star Cops.
I think I've heard of it, but I can't be absolutely sure.
It's yet another show that has been picked up and done, I think, very well by Big Finish. But the original was only about 6 episodes. BBC sort of sci-fi from the 70s or the 80s.
What was it on originally?
BBC
Colin?
One. BBC One.
BBC. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I have a version of BBC, so I'm wondering if it might be in the
It might be.
the old
no,
files.
It's not. No, it's
Oh,
not,
okay.
It's not. You might have to try and get it on DVD.
Things like that you might find on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always a possibility.
The thing is, about Star Cops. Sorry, Colin.
So go make.
Sorry.
Star Cops was created by one of the writers who was working on Blake 7.
Oh,
Ooh.
now
So
you've
it has
got
got-
now you've
it's
got my
got
attention.
more
Now
of
you've
it.
got my attention. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Well,
I think most of the model unit from Blake 7 ended up in Star Cops.
in which case, if we're going to start bringing up Blake 7, I have to do the obligatory in chat. It's obligatory whenever Blake 7 is mentioned. You have to do that.
Even
I tell you
Even
what,
this.
there was also an early Sky One show called Space Island 1, I think, with
I've never heard of that one. Jeez.
Judy Lowe and others. And again, that was a set on a space station. One of them, I'm not sure which. I think it's Space Island 1.
I thought you were going to say Space Precinct.
No,
Well, these things is different. That is better.
no, I think it's one of them. I think it's Space
Yeah,
Island
maybe.
1. They have an episode where they find a Russian. Again, it's set in the future. It's on a space station, but they find a Russian. They find the Russian moonshot that failed, and the crew is still inside dead. I think that's Space Island 1 rather than Star Cops.
So I think the two of them sound ideal. I'm going to have to actually write them down. So let's put it this way: the things that people have recommended in this panel never, always. Now it doesn't surprise me. Remember right at the beginning when we did Princess Bride? I'd never seen it. Princess Bride sounds like a girl, a chick flick.
No, it's not.
How many times did I say? I watched it 3 times the day I watched it because I enjoyed
Yeah.
it so much.
My name is
I got-
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You killed my father. I
Prepare to die.
It's just a movie I had never, based on the title, no concept I would like this. This is a chick flick. I ain't watching this.
That is the assumption, and it's an understandable assumption because of the sort of imagery that they use on the cover and all that. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
so
it
funny.
is. It's very definitely presented as a, shall we say, chick flick. But
Yeah.
it's absolutely
It-
not. But
definitely
if
today.
you look at the story, it's the grandfather, Peter Falk, coming in and talking to. Oh, the kid is also really famous
was
as well.
it Fred Savage?
Fred Savage.
Yeah.
Fred
Yeah.
Savage.
From the
yeah.
Wonder Years.
The Wonder
Yeah.
Years, yeah.
But for
Although
me,
I was
the
jealous of
takeaway
Fred Savage
quote.
as I was a kid because I always fancied his girlfriend.
But for me, the takeaway quote from Princess Bride is, "You keep using that word. I don't think it means
know
what
what
you
it-
think it
You
means."
think, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that was one of the first ones that I thought, yeah, just sounded nice, and I was so surprised. Then obviously, there's someone in the chat recommended other movies for me. Like they recommended Boss Level, and I fell in love with Level. It was basically a new movie. I had no interest in new movies, and they recommended I watched it, and I fell in love with it. Then Alex recommended For All Mankind. Really enjoyed that. And
Cool.
yesterday, somebody had recommended something, and I finally watched it. The Outlander. Jim
Who
the Viking
recommended
had
that one?
recommended The Outlander. It's basically a spaceship crash lands in a lake in Norway.
Oh,
It's basically Spaceship Beowulf.
yeah.
Yes, that's
I'm
exactly
in.
what it is.
I'm in.
And when he lands, there's a creature that was on the ship. That's what caused it to crash. And he basically, there's the backstory of why the creature's there. And it is basically ripping the Vikings, the Norse to shreds. And it's causing
That
fight.
sounds really cool.
Ron Perlman's in it. John Hurt's in it.
Oh,
What do you call her? What's her name? Oh, every time I see it, I can see her, but I can't remember her name. Jim. What's the girl's name? The one that plays Freya. I can't remember.
he's
Anyway,
Googling.
he's Googling. It's the fact is, I was
Yes, I'm googling, but I do know which one you mean because she has been around, but I don't think she's ever had a major role.
I thought she has. It's just her face is so familiar. But it's just basically maybe it's the movies I've watched that could be all B movies that I've watched that she's been in. But anyway, it's the fact is, it's one that you recommended, and I thought I'll add that to my list. And I watched it yesterday, and I'm sitting there thinking, have I got time to watch it again?
But that's why I so much love joining this panel on a Saturday evening because new films, new ideas, new concepts, a book to read, something to actually grab onto, and then Sunday afternoon while I start bringing up a Sunday roast or whatever it is I'm doing on a Sunday evening, it's like when there is that lull, you have to let everything cook in the kitchen for like an hour. You bring the book up, you put the TV show on, you put whatever it is you're doing. That's how it goes for me. I don't know how it goes for anyone else, but for me, Sunday afternoons it's literally my downtime. There's no work, there's no cleaning, there's no housework, there's no nothing. I can actually sit and pick up a book, a TV show, a film, a comic book, even browse Amazon for a lot of collectibles. And I will have to say, Roman, I'm very jealous about your background there. You seem to have a lot of interesting toys.
I was noticing that. Yeah.
Amongst that as well.
Yeah, I've
You
got
don't
just
have
a couple.
cats, I take it.
This is one. No, I don't. But this is. I'm actually my studio is also my garage. So it's just me out here.
Is that Space Ghost on the top of the shelf?
That is Space
Oh,
Ghost.
right hand side, yes. Wait.
BJ, do you want to bring him up on the big screen?
Yeah, let me grab him.
Oh no, it's okay, and I'll put you on the big screen so you can see him.
Oh, that is an awesome collection. My.
So we got.
Look at that. That is
Yay!
absolutely
That's
superb.
awesome.
Oh, now look at that. That is.
See, Roman, as I
the
was
classic Hanna-Barbera.
because half of the ones in the background
The only way. Yeah.
We have to import them.
Yeah.
I've been collecting hardcore since about when did I start college again? 2009. So not forever, but not yesterday. And I just slowly started accumulating them, and then I started making more money. So then I started buying more, much to my Mrs. of the Empire's chagrin. So they and I are relegated to the garage.
Yeah,
Are
that's what
you
I'm
a
saying. When we moved into this house, it was a case of, right, we need 2 rooms because one for us, and then
Yeah.
sometimes if we've got family coming over, we need a room for that.
But Roman, are you a
My
Doctor
wife
Who fan?
says, one for your
I,
stuff
I,
because
I am, Colin. Actually, in the other upper corner, which you can't see so well,
I was
I
gonna
have
say-
my Doctor Who collection.
I was going to say, in that case,
Oh, you
your
can see
wife-
them. You can actually see them right
In
there.
that case, your wife should be Romana of the Empire.
Yay! Good one.
Roman, have you got any Daleks knocking about at all?
I do. I have a couple up here.
Alex
Excuse me,
loves his Daleks. He's got his big
Oh, yeah.
Dalek like.
Dalek off.
Oh, we
So
love
I
Daleks
have,
here as
I
well.
have 2 Daleks. This is my favorite though. Is the Ironside Dalek.
Yes.
He's got a little cup of tea with him.
That's Matt. Yeah, from the Matt episode. Yeah,
Yes.
that's cool.
And I've got a classic Dalek up there as well. But
This is a limited edition that you cannot get anymore.
Oh,
Would
that's
you like a cup of tea?
fantastic.
From that set we were doing this,
Would you like?
You put on the chat, and was that the one that you put in the chat? Because I saw the box set for the Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Yeah,
movie.
that's what it is. It's a concept, but it would be great if they actually character options released it.
Ah, is that what it is?
Yeah, because the thing is, they never. It's just the problem is they can't get the license for the movie Daleks to put in toy form.
Which is crazy.
Hmm.
The reason why they released the drone Dalek from the movie is because they were in an episode of The Chase, only for 2 seconds.
thank you, Miranda.
Yes, that
Yeah,
is a fine collection indeed.
Roman, you've seen my collection, and I'm jealous.
I have to agree with Prime Knight here. Some say toys, we say memories and collections,
Yes.
Yep.
because that
Oh, yes.
that is what
We
the
say
art
they're
was.
Parts of us. The
Correct.
parts of us.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, I
we
remember
would
when I was a
collect-
boy, I had a. Then of course I played with them when I was a boy. Less so now. More they just stand around. But I had a very extensive Star Wars collection because I was of that age. I was 7 years old when the movie came out, so I was at the proper age. I keep hitting my mic because I talk with my hands. So all the I had the Millennium Falcon, the Death Star, all the ships, all that stuff, and I actually got them back later in life, that exact collection. But I was young and we were poor, and I ended up selling it off so we could have Christmas that year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Roman,
wow.
do you want
That's,
to hear one that very like that? My nephew, called after me, when he was a kid, had an extensive collection. He had the Millennium Falcon, the cruiser it had for all the troops, and he had something like 30 or 40 just stormtroopers. He had every single figure. He had the lot. And as he grew out of it, he boxed it all up, and my sister put him up in the attic. He's now got 3 kids, 3 boys, and he thought, oh, I'll bring
perfect.
them down for the boys. So we went to my sister, and he said to my sister, this was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. He says, where's all my Star Trek stuff? She says, well, I thought you'd finished that. I gave it to the charity shop.
oh
Oh
my god!
Oh my
He
God.
said,
The agony. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh
Basically,
no!
see, when I heard that, I could not stop laughing because that's what happened to me when I was a kid. Because I had all my action men and all this, and obviously I'd put them all in the box because I'd finished playing with them. Women were out there, had better things to play.
I had like
And basically, when I got married, and then I went up because I'd started collecting bits and pieces, and mine were all shoved in the shed, and my shed was damp, and so all my comics and all that got ruined. So I went up to my mum's and she says, oh, I threw them in a bin.
Oh my god.
Action Man, Space 1999. It
Oh,
was in a
Space
hand.
1999, that big ship. I had that
Oh.
as a kid. I
yeah.
loved that. So you have the little. I remember seeing it in your video. Yeah, I had
There you go.
the full
yeah.
the big one.
The big
But
one that
Yeah.
the head,
the front could come off, and
the
you could connect the
Yeah.
engines
You're
on the
talking about
back.
Eagle.
Because
You're talking about the
that was
Eagle.
one of the ones I had,
Yeah.
and that's one of the ones that went.
Oh.
And I was
I know.
I could understand because I had kids. I could understand what my mum had done, but it was so funny when my nephew. I three boys would have loved those.
Oh man,
Oh, I
my
can
my
feel
son.
the
I saved all of my son's stuff. He's in his early 20s now, so he still has a little bit of a collection, but all of his big stuff I put in the overhead out here so we could save it. So in the prospect of one day having a grandchild, that we might pass it along because they're not touching this. They can get this when I'm dead.
See, Roman, that's what the guys were saying. I
Amen
had
to
to my
that.
grandfather 10 weeks ago, and they were saying you'll need to actually move everything up to at least for your fifth shelf and higher. I says, no. He'll be allowed to play with these because as soon as he comes in here, he'll get trained how to play with them. He'll be allowed to touch. He'll be trained how to play with them. So if he wants something, he'll say, no problem. What you doing? And he'll be sitting there, and he'll know not to go. He'll know not to do that. He'll be shown how to play with them properly, and he'll be allowed to play with them properly. But the things he's not allowed to play will be put on the top shelf, but that'll be
Yeah.
very few and far between. But it is that you basically. Now I've got my daughter, similar to me. She's still got things from when she was a kid. She's got her very first
Yeah.
teddy bear still, and it is not like I've got a teddy bear. My daughter bought me one for my 50th, a Builder bear,
Oh.
and mine's is up on my shelf. So it's out for the elements. Hers is nice and boxed and wrapped, and it's
Yeah.
well taken care of because she eventually wants to pass it on to her son. And now she's
No.
got a son. And
Do you know what I
she's going to
miss?
pass it on.
I had a huge, and I'm talking huge, Matchbox car collection.
Oh yes.
And I had like the suitcase that you
And
keep
that's
them.
what I was going to say. The suitcase with
Oh
the
my god! And they're gone. They're gone.
Yep.
And it's sad. It's very sad because I absolutely loved those when I was little, and I had the suitcase thing and everything. And life stuff happens. Family illnesses and things like that. We had to move, and certain things just had to go. And I kicked myself to the stems, like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Thanks, Cam, for joining us.
But hey, Cam. But yeah, I miss those.
Well,
Those would have
it
been
is
fun to still have.
hard when you're younger. When I say younger, I mean in your 20s, you're coming out of your youth, to think about at 35 having your own family and passing those things along, or even just one day I might want to display these or something. It's just because you're of the mind, you're just trying to pull your life together at that point, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there's not a lot of
It
room for
happens.
not a lot of room for toys.
No,
The
it
same
happens.
idea. It
Yeah.
wasn't so much toys when when I was first married and I had kids, because I had the Target Doctor Who collection. I had every book. I would go down to the Barras, which is just a market here. For anybody that doesn't know, the Barraland market, the Barras. So we'd go down there every weekend. It was open. You would go around, and I would pick up a book. I've got that book, but this is an earlier edition, so I would take it in, and then I'd bring my old one back the next week, tell it to them as I'm going through. And I used to do that, and there was a fire in the house, so a lot of mine got coated with
Oh,
like me, so I had to replace them all, which I did because I loved doing. I like the hunt, so I used to do that, and then I had the collection.
Mhm.
And when my kids were young, we were struggling, and I had to sell a lot, and I was gutted. However, when I
Aw.
got a nice good job, I started collecting my Judge Dredd stuff again. So I had the first 100 books. I didn't have book issue 1, but I had issue 2 to 100. And when I got divorced, she binned them all. That's why I'm happy
Ouch.
my wife says, keep your shit in your room, but it's all mine. So, but it's basically things like that. You're sitting there thinking, it's what's the hard part of it? It's the hard part when you have to think back. It did. It was an issue at the time, but it wasn't a big issue. Now,
Mhm.
when you can relax and you think of your collection, and now it's a bigger issue than it was
Kind
at
of,
the
yeah.
time. And that's the thing because you appreciate it more when you've got the time to appreciate it. When I was getting divorced, it was just something that happened, so I didn't appreciate how bad it was. It was just vindictive,
I think
and it
I
was
think
just
that the consolation is that so many of us have these stories,
yes,
and it happens. And that the beauty of now is that the internet and eBay and places, albeit things have become stupidly expensive because people basically realize, that you really want
Yeah.
something badly.
yeah,
But you still can, in many cases, get hold of some of that stuff again.
It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah.
yes.
So, but
You
yeah, it's.
sometimes get hold of stuff again.
Mhm.
Has anyone noticed that the difference in craftsmanship compared to the original Doctor Who figurines, what we had in the day compared to what we have now?
See,
Like
I think that's right across the
things,
board because you look at you Roman, you used to call them GI Joe. Over here,
yeah,
they were
Action Man,
Action
right?
Man, right? But you also had the small figures, and the
Yes.
small figures didn't have the anime. They basically had maybe 1 or 2 points of articulation, so the
yeah,
arms were almost straight. They didn't bend. Yes.
This is the new GI Joe collection that they put out. The GI Joe Classified series
Uh-huh.
is
Cool.
the new Hasbro releases, and I don't have all of them, but I have many of them because I can't have all of everything, though I do try. But
Yes.
that was GI Joe, and I don't know about everybody else on the panel. Obviously, we all
yeah.
had different things, but the GI Joes back in the day, the 12-inch figures, those
Mhm.
were my absolute favorite toys as a kid.
Yeah. Well,
I loved them.
I was talking to Miranda on Twitter, and she was mentioning, and I'm sitting there thinking, Panda, Panda, I want that, I want it again, because she mentioned the dogs, and I had 2 of them, 2 of the Action Man dogs,
Oh.
Buster and Butch. I want them back, but she's trying to get the original,
Yeah.
not happening.
I
They
And you can
wanted
buy
were
an Action Man, no problem, but it's
I
hard. Well,
wanted
you
I
can.
wanted the Action Man as well, so bad. And it's funny when you're growing up a girl and you're kind of a tomboy. I had my girly friends, and then I had my friends who were like young boys, in the neighborhood and stuff, and we'd play like, tank, my best friend's brothers, we used to, play like make believe war games and all kinds of things like
Mhm.
that. And then I had my girly girlfriends. But the one thing I always wanted was the Action Man, and they've just become so hard to get hold of now.
Yes, they are. And
Um,
the new
yeah.
Action Man just doesn't look the same. It,
But
it's doing
you and me,
if you
when
never take
we
it out the
grew up in
box.
the era where
Uh,
when you say girly girlfriends, it's like, oh, why are you hanging out with those boys? It's literally the Mean Girls kind of film. It's like, oh, why are you talking to the geeks even?
Well, it was
It's like
funny because I was like, yeah, I had a foot in a few different circles. I always think of the Breakfast Club when I think of high school. I used to hang out with the Burnouts. I used to hang out with the arty, the artsy people. Some of whom were burnouts, but we just had a nice eclectic group, and I had some nice eclectic group of friends that, again, some of them were girly girls, some of them were more tomboy type type friends. And my best friend, like I said, she was a tomboy like me, and her brothers got both of us into like sort of the Action Man stuff, and we used to watch like Star Blazers after school and things like that. We grew up on all that.
Yep. See, it was
So
the same as I looked at the Action Man, and yes, you could buy an Action Man for about £19. So they look
Which isn't
okay
too,
in
which
the
isn't
box.
too bad.
They
But
look
I will
okay
give
in the
you.
box, but
I
they're nothing
do have a
like the.
collection for Roman here, since he's the new one. So I do
Is
like
this
my
your
comic
cookery week?
books,
Is this your cookery week?
and PJ will agree with me. And these are
Spider-Man.
still well within the plastics and everything, so
Nice.
they're well protected.
sweet.
And you have this one. But something that really pissed me off is this one. It was a conflict between the original artist, and this is about 2009 when he made it. And then someone on Twitter just, I'm going to redraw your thing without your permission.
Uh-oh.
And I bought this one for £3.59 on eBay. When the culmination of it happened,
I know what that
the
is.
price had gone 100 times higher. You had to pay £350 to get this cover.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that
That's
one.
an amazing cover. Yeah,
The controversial
Yeah.
one.
that was the.
Um,
But yeah, that was
Yeah,
so
Didn't
I'm
that
good.
just going to
Star Wars
actually
guy
make
do
it
something
full
about
screen.
that?
Put it back up, Jim.
Yeah, please show it.
Yeah, Star Wars girl did the reenactment of that one,
Yeah.
did she? Yeah, she did a great job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars girl Anna, she
Yeah.
actually got the crop top, the jeans, the cutout jeans and everything, and
did a
she sat like that
fantastic
on a
job.
sofa,
Yeah,
showing that, hey, this can actually be
Yeah, there
done
are-
in reality.
If
Yeah.
I remember, she says it's almost impossible because it is so uncomfortable.
yeah, that's
Nobody
no
can sit
lie.
like that for long. You can sit
But,
like that for the two
no,
seconds before-
I see her sitting like this as an individuality trait of her. She's like a teenager. She's comfy
Yeah.
with like squishing your foot under your butt in an office chair or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You've all seen them. You've all seen the young kids that are like contortionists and they can do everything, and you just go and it's like, how the hell?
You
Can
can
you do
basically hear
this?
your bones cracking
Well-
when you think
well,
about doing it.
Since you
Yeah.
showed a comic book, I'll show one of mine. This is from my pick of the week. I'll show one of.
Oh dear, we're into you show me mine and I'll show you. I'll
We
show
had
you
to go
mine.
there.
I'm
We had
not
to go there.
flashing my Ming this week, by the way.
Oh,
Okay, right. Countdown until the bots turn up then since you said it.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
now. I picked that up in a charity shop.
Nice.
Oh,
that's
that
nice.
looks like a very good and
Perfect condition.
even well-maintained copy.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. No clicks,
Yeah,
no
that's in
dents,
good shape.
Nothing. It is so well. I'm so looking forward to
Yeah,
that
someone
one.
cherished
So,
that.
Miranda, as I said,
Mhm.
stick around because I picked this one up. Look at the flag in the background. I just love that artwork. And I'm just so.
Yeah.
See, when I was just basically, I'd already been into charity shop and I'd picked up and up and I was thinking, I saw it bumped into a few people and we were chatting to them. And as we were chatting to them, I noticed over the guy's shoulder there was a cabinet and these were in it.
Oh,
I'll
that's
have everything
awesome.
in that shelf, please. I literally got everything. There
know-
was a couple of these, and
Yeah.
there was other stuff which I'm not showing tonight, but I bought the whole shelf because they had things like this one.
Jim,
That's why
I know
saying
you
I
had,
spent almost £50 in a charity shop today.
Oh,
Because
that's still a
things
good
like
pickup.
because things like this were on this shelf, and I didn't notice initially, but when I was standing in the shop, I noticed it over a shoulder. I'll have that shelf. He says, "What do you want?" The shelf. The lot. So that's one of my. I picked that up, and I'm just so pleased with it. I'm so very pleased with it. I can't actually see how I'm gurning in the inside. That's it. That was how I felt all the way home. It was almost like you can imagine.
It was like a very manly squeeze.
Yes, I was
Squeeze.
What
basically
is
dancing down
Captain
the
Scarlet?
Ooh, I saw
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah.
Miranda's. I used to have some Captain Scarlet toys. I don't. What is
Yeah.
Captain Scarlet?
Captain Scarlet is the Jerry Anderson animated. They had Captain Scarlet, Captain Blue, Captain Black was the baddie. And
Actually,
you had this is the voice of the Mr. Ron. It
Interesting.
was you've
Hold
seen
on, hold
Thunderbird
on.
with Jerry Anderson. It was another Jerry Anderson one. That's Captain Scarlet. Right, hold
I'll be
on, hold
damned.
on.
Yeah, I didn't learn about these until I came to the UK myself. I'd
this
never.
is like Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Similar idea.
Yes.
It's the same guy who
Okay,
did Thunderbird
okay.
with
It's
Got it.
Well,
one
you know,
from
it's the,
Thunderbirds.
look, there's a Thunderbird 2 at the back.
He's got a Thunderbird 2 in the background there. Yeah, it's very similar. It's but they did an update to it, and it was
Yeah.
animated. It was CGI, and it was still good. But initially, it was the puppets. Same idea as Thunderbird.
Yeah, the puppets. Just take Team America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jason, you do that is blasphemy.
Duster. Yeah, Captain Scarlet is superb.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to look for that. It looks fun.
The
Yeah.
thing is that they've actually got, you can do, I don't think, I'm not sure how much Jerry Anderson actually intended to do it. You can actually put Stingray, Thunderbirds, and Captain Scarlet in the same universe.
Yeah, TV
Yeah.
Century
I
21.
remember Stingray.
No,
Stingray.
you can put it in the unit for the for the simple purpose that there's the first Thunderbirds movie. Yes, they made puppet
Zero
movies
X.
in the 60s.
Get
Zero,
that off.
the vessel that goes to Mars. That's the same one that Captain Black
Yeah.
goes to Mars on. But,
Yeah.
And in some of the background information you see in some of the comics and the like,
Yeah. I always used to laugh at
so-
Captain Scarlet. I loved it, but there was always laugh at it because all the agents were captains. So you had Captain Scarlet, Captain Blue, Captain White. You had Captain Black, who was taken over by
you
Mr.
had
Captain Magenta.
These-
Thinking,
these
"Is
days,
that
of course,
a colour?" I was young. Is that a colour? Magenta? What's that?
these days you get the reading that the only coloured, the only major coloured character was only Lieutenant, was Lieutenant Green. But the other thing was, if you get someone that always interested me about Captain Scarlet, and they didn't actually explain it in the new series either. What was the
why the colours? Uh-huh.
No, what was the purpose of Spectrum before they went to War of the Mr. Ones?
Well, they were a protection,
Yeah, I
weren't
never
they?
thought they
Yeah,
were-
but-
I thought they were royal
Yeah,
police.
No, I'm saying it never seems to be specifically said until they come in and then all of a sudden they come in with the Mr. Ones and the Mr. One. Oh yes, absolutely. When you start singing the theme tune in a minute now, yes. Interesting. One change they made with two changes they made with the new series that I noticed refer to the Angels.
There you
I-
go. They were the units of that
The
universe.
unit. Okay,
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, good point.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
I get
Good
that
word putting
reference.
it, JW. I like it. Yeah. For start, my personal preference. All of the angels in the CGI series had short hair. Personal preference. It makes sense for the helmet, but sorry, I prefer longer hair. And in the films, in the puppets, I think there was more variation.
Yeah.
But
They were,
also,
as far
in
as
the-
I
in the new-
remember.
Yeah.
I've got the Captain Scarlet on this shelf here somewhere.
in the new one also, as far as I can tell, the angels' call signs are their names. You only ever hear them referred to as Destiny, Harmony, whatever. Whereas the agents still have their own names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
whereas
is
always-
weird. It is
always
weird
the
the way
case.
they did that.
Yeah.
Right,
I
Alec,
think
what
in
am I bouncing up? Oh, there, it's there. Uh-huh.
Well, speaking of, the Jerry.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Let's play a game.
This is
Right.
the James Webb Space Telescope Deep Space Picture,
Oh yeah.
subtitled "Where's Jerry?"
No, he's not there, really.
Well, yeah, but
Well, I can see an eagle top right hand corner.
Yeah.
Right, I can see.
And then there's about midway down to just to the right.
Yeah, I can see.
little bit
It looks
further
like
down.
the Enterprise.
No.
Yeah.
It looks like, but there's the UFO. I can see the UFO
UFO.
top right
Yeah.
center.
go slightly
God.
right. Go about. Go
3/4 of
to
the way down.
There's Thunderbird. Thunderbird 1 is red. There you go.
No, that's
top right.
Thunderbird 3.
Is it Thunderbird 3?
that UFO. Go about 2 inches to the right
There's
of that
I can
UFO.
see Sid. I can see Sid.
Yep. What's that?
I don't know what that one is that you're putting the mouse around.
I thought it was Thunderbird
too
5,
small.
but it's not. Until I looked at it, it's an interceptor.
That's what it is. You can see the missile at the front.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
yeah.
can see if you go straight down and to the right, Sid is there.
Do you want me to
Yep.
zoom in?
Yes, you need to zoom in because it's too
Okay.
small for some of them.
Yeah, I've got it
Right.
full screen.
There we
So
go.
right down at the
Oh,
bottom
of
of the screen,
course,
you can
the
see
UFO,
Sid.
yeah.
You can see Sid right at the bottom of the screen, to the right of centre. Right at the bottom. There you go. There.
Hold on, you've lost
going
one.
too far up.
Go back up. Go back up. You missed one. Top left.
Top left, right on the corner.
No, just down from the corner.
Next
Approaching
to
the
the
blue.
planet.
Blue. Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
I can't make out what that is.
I can't make anybody make out what that is. See,
That's
Roman, you're at a
Bible
disadvantage
X-
because of Gary Anderson.
Bible XL5 and the moon from Moon Base Alpha.
Right.
You got Terrahawks there.
I love it.
Ah,
Sergeant Major 0.
ah,
Now I
yes.
can't spot that. What that is?
That is.
You see the 5-star one that I'm seeing. That is from the video game by a member of the British Order of the Empire here in United Kingdom, has been a video game developer for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the alien races in Elite Dangerous.
Wow.
Well, that car right in the centre is Space Precinct. That's a police car.
I thought that looked like a car. Yeah. that was like-
It's they're flying cars. And see, right, if you go right now from where you are, go up a meeting a bit and go right to the right, there's Sid. You're going to.
This is
What's
Right
that?
there,
Okay.
it's Sid there.
Right
Sid
where
is
you
there.
are, PJ.
Eh?
If you go up about,
It's
go up
for
a little
me,
bit from
Alec is
where you're-
controlling it.
go to the far right from where your cursor is now. Go completely to the right,
yeah.
Up a
Now-
wee bit.
a little bit to the left. Stay where you are. Right there.
I thought that was the Enterprise because
That
it
looks like the
it-
Reliant. That
It does.
looks
It's just,
to me
it's
like the
it's
Reliant.
it's a galaxy and 2 stars. I thought it was.
Yeah,
the
I think it's
Enterprise.
just pattern
Yeah.
recognition on that
It's
one.
just
Yeah.
pattern recognition. But there you go. There's so many actually there. Top right hand corner.
Whoever did this is brilliant. This is really
I found
nice.
this on the Jerry Anderson website. And
That is just superb.
Yeah, this is really, really good. So much fun.
But we could actually do that all day, so I'm going to kick it. I'm going to kill it. We could do that all day, but that is it's basically the same idea as Thunderbird. Jerry Anderson has a range of stuff he did puppet. So he had Captain Scarlet, he had Stingray, he had. Alec, what am I telling him? You know this a hell of a lot better than I do. the range of stuff that Jerry Anderson had. He had Space Precinct, which was a live action one. The cops and stuff like that. It did so much. It was just. But you need to check out Captain Scarlet if you can get a chance.
see, the thing is, Roman, I am still a major Thunderbird fan, but I go through all the Jerry Anderson stuff now. So you just got a variety of programs. And sometimes there are shows out there, Jerry Anderson, that you get jokes in it, which you understand.
I was thinking the other day. I can't think of a Jerry Anderson show.
See, when we're on the Jerry Anderson topic.
Possibly starting at Supercar 5 or XL5 onwards. I can't think of a Jerry Anderson show that I would not that I would not like to see remade competently.
I know.
Every single Jerry Anderson show, I think, had enough in it. So if made remade competently, it could be remade to this day.
Yeah, because they're all. How can I be? All the
Even
60s,
Space
the
Precinct,
70s.
which was a live action one.
I know.
Yeah.
Space 1999, UFO,
Yeah.
including the ones that never got made and just concepts.
Yeah. Well, I
See,
mean,
we're actually on the Jerry Anderson kick. This is another pick of the week.
Here we go. Haha.
But I only got 5 of the 8.
Oh.
They only had 5 in the charity shop. So there was. So I've
Oh.
got 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh, that's
and
so
8.
cool.
So I think there's 10 all in all. So I only got, they only had 5 in the charity shop. I picked them up. So that was
Sweet.
£1 for those 5.
Wow.
And I was looking for the other 5 to spend double my money. But, so I picked them up. That's what I was saying, Alec. You're a wee bit, I had a wee bit of thing I'd picked up, and that's what it was. So I was so happy. See, when I saw the first one, I thought, oh, and then I saw a second one, oh, and a third, and I'm sitting there, and I had about 500 DVDs, and I went through every single one of them.
Oh, they weren't even like grouped together. They were just
No,
all
they
like,
were all
it's-
here,
Oh,
there.
oh God.
ouch. That is
This
dedication.
is
That is
why,
hard work.
PJ, I'll pick up the box sets and not.
Yeah, see, I because I like the charity shop, I could
I
could
love-
go out and
I
buy
love
the
the-
stuff that I
yeah.
want. I could go out and buy, but where's the fun? I like the fun.
It is
And that's
fun,
why
yeah.
the charity
Yeah.
shops do it for me. Occasionally, I do go to the shops and I do buy things. There's a couple of things in the pick. I actually bought one out of B&M and one out of, well, you'll know as soon as you see it. And the rest of the stuff was charity shop.
Anyway, I just want to mention this. Going back to the figurines, because I tried to bring this up earlier about HasLab. Apparently, they can do your own selfie figures now.
Yes.
Oh,
It's something. Yeah, I saw this. It's like I saw the thing I saw. They were like putting your head on a Power Ranger, which I'm not fond of, but it was just your head on a Power Ranger body. Which
My
I
head's
It's not
on
just
the
Power
Ranger
Rangers. It's not just Power Rangers.
can I
It's,
get my head in a Judge Dredd body?
If they bring out
They're
Judge Dredd,
basically
yeah.
threading in on James Masterson's area, who's doing this handcrafted to get your face onto a
What we
superhero.
looking at?
How much are they? Did they
We
throw a
don't
price
know.
at you? Oh, okay.
No, we said full 2022. But it's only US only.
So we're knackered. The only one
Yeah,
that's
we're
got
knackered unless we
probably
get it imported.
for fans.
That's a cool idea, I suppose. Yeah.
Anyway,
It'll
the Big Bang Theory showed us how to do it. Just buy a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Just buy a 3D printer and a 3D scanner and scan yourself and print yourself. The wife won't mind. She's the one that earns all the money.
I don't know. Mrs. of the Empire is kind of pissed about these. I don't think she'd be happy if about a 3D printer as well. What were you thinking?
Well, it's your money. What's yours is mine. You're right. No, the answer is what's yours is mine and what's mine is my own.
So, Peter, it's funny you described going through all the items in the store to find those. That's me at a used record store. I will literally go through every record they have to find sometimes nothing, and that's okay. But I do just love going through them.
Yeah.
It's the hunt for it. It's the same. I used to do the same when I was buying comics. I would always go to the bars again. Before it was a lot, the charity shop was a big thing. I would go to the bars or the card boot sales, and if I saw comics, literally every single one. And I've got still some of my comics that I've done that in the past. The Judge Dredd paper comics, the foolscap, whatever they're called. But I've still got a few of them. However, it's the hunt. I enjoy the hunt because if I stood there for an hour just going, I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. The other people will be sitting there going, wish he would move. I'm trying to get in there. No.
Yep.
It's the hunt. It's the fun part of it. Because yes, we could all go online and just go buy. Sorted, no problem. But where's the fun in that? The fun is the hunt for it.
But have you anyone noticed that they're doing reissues of hard to get figurines and also comics and all this and that these days when
Yes.
they will worth a lot of money?
Well,
So,
they're doing that because they realise there is a market for it. So somebody's actually smart thinking,
Mhm.
people are actually paying £300, £400 for that figure. If we redo the figure as a retro figure and put it in a retro outlook, you
Mhm.
could sell it. Remember when
Yeah.
the Star Trek from B&M, they're retro in the retro sleeve, and they were selling for £13, £14. I bought one, two, three, four, five. But I've got five of them, and that's not the full set. But
Mhm.
B&M sold out so quickly that I know a shop
Yeah.
that actually got a delivery of the same time, but because
Mhm.
B&M were selling them so cheap, they put them aside. They're waiting for 2 or 3 months after B&M take them off their shelf, then
Yeah.
they'll put it out
Yeah.
for double the price. And it's good marketing because I understand it. But
Mhm.
these figures, they just look retro, and we know they only got made last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Okay with
Do you
that.
remember the Mego figures?
Yep.
Because they make figures. I don't know if it's actually Mego making them or if someone else has just bought the name and then is using it. But they put out a line of the Star Trek figures again. This was maybe 2 years ago from the
Oh, I think
Mego folks, and they were really cool because you had different versions of Kirk, which was cool. It wasn't just the yellow shirt Kirk; you had the green shirt Kirk. They had Mirror Universe Spock, and it was
That's
just
the one.
really cool to see those again.
I think that's the
we're
one I
that's the ones
picked
we're
up.
talking about.
The Khan. I have got
That's
Khan
the ones we're talking
from
about.
that set.
God.
It's these ones.
Khan.
Those ones.
Oh yes,
That's the ones we were
that's
talking
it.
about because
Yeah.
I've got him, I've got Spock, I've got Khan, and I've got Uhura. I've also got Data, but I've not got any of the
Oh, we need bones.
because
Yay.
I need bones. I want Scotty. I want
And
Chekhov.
Scotty.
I want them all.
I know. On everything.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But
That is nice.
I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
this is one of my original ones.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
He's no shoes, and I had to buy the scarf, and he's no shirt. He's basically
Yeah, but
It's
he's there.
he's
Yeah,
just
that's
there. The
cool.
only thing that survived was his jacket and his trousers. That's it.
sometimes that's all you need, Peter.
At least he
Yeah.
got his trousers. That's all I can say. At that age, I was surprised if I still had my trousers. But that's a different story we don't want to go into here. But it's a case of the classic stuff is always superb. I just love. So when if I pick something, I could pick up something that's new. Like for instance, and go ahead and pick up that. Right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Nice. But would I rather have that or would I rather have something that looks classic like that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
do like the
really modern,
classics too.
but it's done in such a way that looks classic. So
oh, that's nice.
that's the type of thing I
Ah, yeah, that's good.
see, and I want to
You know,
get all of them.
NECA makes some really good retro. They have the Wolfman
I
creature from the
want
Black
both.
Lagoon. NECA makes just some nice products, and they're not super. You know, they're not as inexpensive as like the regular figures, but there you go. Exactly, the Wolfman. You're gonna get
No,
the dogs all
I
riled
agree,
up
I
again.
agree with you. NECA makes some amazing stuff, but I just got the kit. The 1990s film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
I got all of the major characters. So I have the 4 turtles, I have Splinter,
sweet.
and I have Shredder.
Teenage Mutant
But
Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in the
Raphael is missing one Psy.
Oh.
And I approached them and they just said,
Oh.
sorry, you're in United Kingdom. We don't care.
Oh, that's shitty. That is really
But they
shitty.
they do have it on the website.
Oh, sweet.
This is for United States only. Don't
Really?
Yeah, but
buy it outside the United States.
Why?
Hmm.
Why? I don't
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, do they not like money?
It's like I don't. It shouldn't
Is
matter
it-
where
it
the
must
toy
be
is
something-
being
See,
distributed.
Maybe it's
I
the
would-
cost
I would
value,
turn
the
around and
factor
say,
of shipping
we
it.
have it, but you realise you'll have to pay the postage, and we can't control that.
No.
And if you say, well, if the postage is twice as much as that cost, I'm okay with it. Then your factory says, yeah, post it, because if somebody prints off a label and puts it in the post, and it costs more than the thing is worth, and you're happy to pay for it, where's the harm in that? Why not tell the company who wants it? Like, rip off
Yeah, there'll be some,
the
You know,
over the world,
business-related
they'll to the
reason.
Taliban if they're giving them money.
because I'll be happy to give them the cost of me getting the Raphael completely modular toy, all articulated and everything, like 36 joints or whatever it's called. It cost me £30 to get that one. He's missing one side. He has one side. He's missing one. I would
Yeah,
just
I
gone 30, and I'm happy to pay any import or cost fee or anything. But they just went, sorry, we're not selling outside of USA.
What about somebody who's there's quite a few people that do like customs, custom
Aye,
makes and customize. Could they make you one?
I bet
Like-
they would need to get a copy of it so they could copy it exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, unless they know exactly how to copy the one you've got.
You know what you need? A laser printer.
A 3D printer.
I have a 3D printer.
That's what
Unfortunately,
3D
I have a
laser printer.
very early
printer.
version of a 3D printer. So literally,
It would make it
the
actually
thinnest
look
I
as if
can
it's
print
something
is like the
from-
size of a turtle head.
I'm trying to remember the name of that game. Remember the kids all buy them and it's almost they're all pixelated. Right, what was the game? The kids buy like the swords and stuff like that and they're all pixelated. It's based on it was a computer game where you build your own world. I can't remember
Fortnite, not Fortnite.
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. And that's what he's if he prints it just now, it's going to look like. I have got the stick. Hold on, I'll need to move it round. And that's going to be what it's going to problem. That's the problem. But the thing is, somebody somewhere is going to do it, and you might actually have to buy two, so you've got two that look the same. Because if you buy one, you can guarantee, unless it comes from the manufacturer, it's going to slightly be different. And that's it.
Although you can sometimes on eBay find the accessories for figures.
Yeah.
Heaven knows I've had to buy replacement lightsabers, gun packs, things like that because I'm crazy, and if it doesn't have all the parts, then I have to find it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you can see that's not the UK
That's
one.
nice.
Because the UK one was Hero Turtles.
Yeah.
Because they weren't allowed to say ninja. So it was Hero Turtles over here.
Mutant was okay though.
And Mutant was okay,
Yeah.
but Ninja Turtles was not.
Who's
But
got
Hero
the
Turtles
box?
was good.
That's a nice figure.
That
Right.
is so cool. I love the turtles.
Puppets, ham and pineapple.
And then there's
Puppets,
Ooh.
ham and pineapple.
Yeah.
it's funny. I guess sometimes they come with the multiple hands, heads, whatever.
There
And
you go.
the
Your
I
sound's
have,
gone.
what happened?
No,
Jim, yeah, Jim the Viking. You're on silent mode.
Oh, sorry. I was just going. It's like this is the one I got. So if we go here, this is actually the action film, not the cartoon. It's the action film.
In the scene, he did lose a side.
yeah.
So that's-
No,
See,
he came without one side. So he has one side. He has
see
a
what the
pizza
master video
slice.
Yeah.
That's a pizza slice.
Yeah, but did you see what
So
So
the
you can
master
actually
video
put
did?
the pizza slice in his hand whilst he's holding a sai out
Well, yeah.
in the other hand.
There you go. Disaster area gave you the hint. You get
Yep.
someone in the US to buy it and post it to you. You know what I mean? You're paying for a postage.
Oh, it's just the fact that I can't even get Neko to even respond to me because I'm not in the United States.
VPN, then they respond to you.
Oh,
Well,
they might. Well,
has anybody seen the original black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja role play game? I've never even heard of that one.
No, I've never heard of it either.
Yeah.
Must be based on the comic. Because the original comic was black and white.
Oh.
If you haven't seen that, do not. look
Hey,
forward
has
to it.
anyone
never saw
seen
that.
the speaking of the black for whatever reason? My old brain sprung into action. Has anybody seen the Black Phone yet?
No, but Ian
I haven't,
recommended
but
it. I've managed to get a copy, and it's on my watch list.
Yeah, someone
Ian,
recommended that to us
Mega
as well.
Geek, it was
I've
Mega
heard
Geek.
it's really
Yeah, yeah.
good, and I
Mega
haven't seen it
Geek
yet.
said
We can
it's
rent it now here, but I before I spend $20 on a movie to rent it, I want to see if it's
Worth it. Ian, if Ian recommends it, I tend to pay attention. He knows his stuff.
Okay.
So Ian was the one that
Yeah.
recommended it. You've talked to Ian. He's been on the Father's channel.
Mhm.
He's the one that recommended me, and I've got it on my watch list. It's just I've not watched it yet. I'm
That's
tempted to
definitely,
keep it
yeah.
for either Halloween,
Yeah.
because it's a horror one, but I also want to watch it early. It's basically I can watch it now and I'll watch it then anyway. But one of those ones I want to actually keep, but I also want to watch it right now as well.
Because there's almost no movie that I'm excited about seeing right now. That one I've heard is good, so I do want to try to check that one out.
Yeah.
But there's like nothing else out there. I could give two craps about Thor. I've heard enough bad reviews on that, so macho women with guns.
Yeah.
That sounds like an 80s.
That sounds good.
It does. I'm all in. One of my favorite bands, The Cramps, has a great song, "Bikini Girls with Machine Guns." It's
Great stuff.
Honestly, it's my favourite band, honey. That's why I've got the poster above their bed.
so does anybody else have any movies that they are looking forward to right now? New movies, not things that we can look back on fondly, but anything coming out.
No.
not new movies, but I do have a huge backlog because I've had a hectic couple of years with the COVID and everything. And we were one of the few that were fortunate enough to say, hey, you can work from home. But now we have to catch up on the stuff that we were supposed to do. But I missed out on a lot of great video games because I'm one that is very passionate. I think of a really good video game. It is a book that you read. It's a story that you get told, but you actually have to solve puzzles in
I
between.
remember those in the past, in the distant past, used to read them. You would go,
Yeah. You open a book, you had your character sheet and everything. Yes.
do this, go to page 7.
Yes. They were awesome books.
You know, Telltale, their Walking Dead game, they had, it was a similar kind of, depending on what you did in the story, changed the outcome of the story.
Yep.
Cool.
Well,
That's the thing.
But so there are no movies out that anybody's interested in. I find that hilarious and sad.
It's telling, is what it is. Yeah, it's telling.
Well, it's telling, but I do miss it. And I wish that you could have brought on those ninja books or whatever they were called back in the days, where you said, "Oh, hey, I want to be strong on this, weak on this, etc., and you read 3 chapters, and then you get 2 bullet points. It's like, if your strength is 15 or above, go to page 77.
Ah.
If it's below, go to page 2022.
Solo play, role play adventure. It's basically,
Yes,
sometimes that's
so-
all you can do. You're ill.
You had one book, one die, and pen and paper.
And
Every time you read the book, you got a different story.
Yeah. See, the thing
Yeah.
is, I remember it when the first one of those books I got is I was ill for 2 weeks. I think it was something like chickenpox or measles, something that was contagious. I wasn't allowed to. I had my TV, so I was okay. I wasn't allowed to go out.
Yeah.
So my mum had actually went down and got the book. And she, like things like the weird stuff, and she came back with the book, and it was one. Here, this is one. It says to play your games that you play them on your own, and it's 2 or 3 books, and it was literally reading it, and it says, if you want to do this, go to page 4.
Steve Jackson started doing
And
that.
it
On
was
Steve,
basically, I loved those books. It was just because it got me doing it. Yeah, you change the story halfway through. Go, nah, I think I'll just go. I'll reread it, but I'll try this instead. And
I
see what
used
it's
to end
going
up
from there.
doing that. I'd end up doing that. Okay, I'd have a sheet of paper, and I'd map out where I was going, and I'd go back. Yeah. Steve Jackson, I think, did a lot of those Steve Jackson books, but there were a couple of actual full-on role-playing games which did the same. There's one called Tunnels and Trolls, which was a very simple game. It only used 6-sided dice, and I had the box set for that, the first one that came out. But then it was Dungeons and Dragons type thing. As I say, very simple ones, but I had about 20, 25 different solo quest adventures. Mostly you ended up with a new character for each one. But you could do that, and it was designed for that. I think it was something like 3 proper tabletop adventures that you did with your friends. One of them was GM in it. Most of them were solo adventures. And RuneQuest, the game that has sentient ducks.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Also
remember.
did solo quest.
Don't mess with the ducks.
You know what movie I was looking forward to initially was the new Monsters movie. By that guy,
Yeah, I'm
Rob
kind of
Zombie.
like
Initially, because it looked as if it was the is it Rob Zombie? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's Rob
He
Zombie.
basically he's a big fan of the Monsters,
Mhm.
and then you saw the initial trailer, and it was basically they just redid the bit when they were coming through the door, and it looked quite good. And yes, the characters looked different, but yeah, different characters.
You know what?
Slightly. And I
Yeah.
thought it looked good until I saw a more recent trailer where instead of doing it all in black and white, it's
in color.
Technicolor. It's not in color; it's in Technicolor. Over the top purples and.
No, and my problem with it isn't the idea of the monsters again, even though it's not really necessary, but it could still be fun. My problem with it is Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie, I personally, this is my opinion only, it doesn't reflect that of the panel. I think Rob Zombie is a terrible director. I thought he was a fine musician back in the day, but as a director, I do not like his work. Literally, ever.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember the old thingy from Planet 9? The
Yes. Yes.
it's that almost over the top. I can do this, and the stuff with the actors would be going. Because Bela Lugosi died, and they couldn't get them to replace him, so they had somebody that looked. It was taller than them.
Yeah, from here up.
His face, and it is that type of Ed Wood type, and that's what it reminds me of, based on what I saw of the Monster, and I thought because he thought, oh, the psychedelic colours will make it so cool, and you're sitting there thinking, but your story's about a love story when Herman.
But the thing is, Rob Zombie could never have told a Tucker and Dale versus Evil story at all.
No, because it would have been overly corny, and it would have been a gore movie. It would have been literally they did do it, but it looked as if they didn't type thing, because it would have been very cliched, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it just reminds me of Ed Wood, and that's not the way you want to actually remember.
No.
No, unless you're quite happy with those type of movies and you love making those type of movies. They look cheap, but they're fun to actually watch. Don't have issues with them. Well,
I can't say I've seen any. I might have seen one and not realized.
If you've seen one, you've seen them all. They're basically the same bad movie, just with different, sometimes the same characters. But they're fairly interchangeable. They're ultra violent. and they're
Yeah.
generally disturbing as well. They're not. It's not like
Yeah.
a fun slasher movie,
It's not like
which is kind of a weird
Not
thing to
Friday
say,
the
but
13th.
Dead.
No, I
It's
get
not
it.
Evil
Yeah,
Dead.
Friday the 13th, like fun.
it's
you know.
they're gruesome and disturbing. And I have enough of that in my real life. I don't require it from my films. So Colin mentioned in the chat Dune 2, or that's Dune Part 2. I am looking forward to that. I actually forgotten about it. It's been so long. But I mean, anything else that's down on the in the list, I can't think of anything. But Dune, I loved the remake of Dune. I thought that was so much better than the '80s film. I had fond memories of that until I tried to watch it again, and I realized just how clunky it was.
It is clunky. I rewatched it, but I'm not going anywhere near the new Dune until they've made the second one because I'm not watching a half a movie. That was my whole attitude. As
That's legit.
they've effectively said we're making half a movie. It's the same as The Hobbit. See that wee book? We're going to extend it into 3 movies. Well, I'm not interested then because I know what the book is, and if you're going to stretch it, then you're basically having to expand on things. If you expand on
But
things,
you have a
then
perfect
you-
point there because you can read the Hobbit, the early one, in 2 hours,
Yes.
and they wanted to make it a 9-hour trilogy.
And I shall never forgive them for it.
No,
Wait,
exactly.
There's
That
a
was
passing
bad
mention.
mistake.
There's a passing mention of Ragnarok, and then suddenly he's got this big backstory segment to put into the movie, and you're sitting there thinking he was mentioned once in the book.
The Lord of the
Why?
Rings, Peter Jackson film, absolute brilliance. I
Yes,
mean,
agreed.
those 3 films,
What
epic,
Peter
brilliant.
Jackson did,
A
they should have
Hobbit,
done with the Wheel of
complete
Time.
fail.
Not add their new stuff in, condense the stuff that was there to
Yeah.
do the story. Not say, right, we're going to condense there and condense and condense. Oh, we've condensed it too much. Okay, we'll add our own stuff in to expand it. Really? There's so much in the books that you could have actually made 6 or 7 movies for the Wheel of Time, but you condensed it that much, you had to add your new stuff in, which changed the whole story. And, I'll no shout swearing, moaning again and again and again.
I noticed Grand Moff you have got up there about a new Predator film, and
Yep.
I love
didn't even know there
Predator.
was one.
I love
I
the
know you do,
original
that's why I
Predator
liked it, yeah. I was
so
going to
much.
ask you that.
It's like going to church when I go to that film. When I watch
I
that
only
film, I
liked
love
that
that film.
first one. I
Yeah.
didn't like Predator 2. They had some ideas that were. I like the change of environment. I thought that could have been good, and there are parts of it that I like. But overall, as a film, I did not like it. And then you
Yeah.
had Predators, which I
Nice.
thought again was interesting.
The idea was quite good.
I haven't. I don't think I've seen it. I think I
The-
saw the second
Then
one.
there's
but
The
then
Predator.
I,
Run
I'm
away
not
if that
giving
movie
it a
is playing. Run away from it. It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
I am
And
just
then they
so
had the
atta-
Alien versus Predator. They had 2 of those.
yeah. I
And
still
again-
remember the promos for that. There was wasn't there like an image of them sat in a drawing room, and they were sat opposite each other playing chess or something. There was it's a really cool image that was like a promotional thing, I think, for when those films were coming out. But yeah,
They well again the concepts were good. The comic book was actually really fun. The Alien versus Predator comic book, the first
The Alien
series.
versus Predator versus Batman.
I have
What?
that. I have that. I have that.
That is fun. That is fun. Did you see the YouTube thing that the guy did?
No,
Oh, dude.
there's an
Batman-
did he do an animation version of it?
No, somebody did a live action version of it.
Oh wait a minute. Oh, you're talking Dead End. Batman Dead End.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
It's the
seen that.
Batman versus the Predator, and then the Alien.
Yes!
was there as well,
I forgot,
and thought
that's so
that was
good.
Absolutely. And I'm sitting there thinking, somebody's made that. Which is
it's the
somebody in
Blu-ray
Hollywood,
Predator
and
or
look at
4K we're
how
getting. I love the
that
original
looks.
one. Yeah.
I'm
The
not
guy-
like- Batman's not my favourite character. I like Batman, but he's not my favourite character. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
The guy who
I
played
can't remember.
Batman and that looked so good as Batman.
Yep.
That's the Batman I'd love to see on the big screen.
Yep.
which we will never ever get, of course, because they
Oh.
have to do the leather suit and all the covered up bits. But Kevin Porter, who is another small screen actor who has played Batman, and the Bat in the Sun has a YouTube site, and they make a lot of these films, Batman versus whatever. And he's another actor who looks really good in the suit.
I think the biggest problem is because they're trying to make the suit look a particular way, which means they make it rubber, they make it so people can't turn on it, and every time something does, they have to constantly redo the suit and all that. And you're sitting there thinking, make it out of material, make it believable, so you can do that, and it doesn't actually go and rip. You know what I mean? Sorry, I just belted that there. I basically got a big enemy. But I think it's just the same again. They're saying, but it looks good. Yeah, but it's not practical. But it looks good. It's like saying to a kid, it's bedtime. But I want to watch this. It's bedtime. But I want to watch this. It's bedtime. But I want to watch. And it's that kind of thing that I think the people who are doing these movies, it's just a case of I've got an idea and nothing you say is going to change that. And you're sitting there thinking, change it, because if he had a material hood, the acting would be a lot better. You wouldn't just have him stand there going boom, boom, and that's it, because he's no moving. But they're trying to do an action scene with somebody in an outfit they can't move in. The action scene just doesn't look good. Because you look at the Michael Keaton one when he's up on the roof and he's fighting, but he's actually looks as if he's standing like that. And he's just basically his arms are going out, and you're sitting there thinking his neck's no moving. How's he meant to?
How hard it was to wear that suit back then.
But that's what I'm saying. You made the suit so impractical that the fight sequence looks ridiculous. Right, okay, do that, and then they'll cut right close in, and they'll have somebody just go, so you can go, ooh, as if that's in the middle of the fight, and you're sitting there thinking, saying it that slow because he can't move in the outfit. Make it practical, make it a material outfit so that you can jump around in.
See,
Dan Moff says about the Hobbit, they fought Sauron but didn't remember that in the Lord of the Rings. That's why I think people, because they change things. Just like
well, I was going to say, speaking about suits, do you know how hard Peter Weller suffered when he had to put on the RoboCop suit?
Say that again?
Say again?
Peter Weller, who played RoboCop, he suffered when he put on that suit. Because I watched a video of him going on about it, and
it was so uncomfortable, you mean?
He hated it.
Not uncomfortable, he couldn't move. He couldn't move.
Oh.
Yeah.
It didn't look comfortable, to be fair.
No, it definitely didn't.
But he was a cyborg, you know.
But an awesome film that was as well.
Oh, the first RoboCop was incredible.
Yes,
RoboCop 2,
awesome.
not so much. RoboCop 3, I don't even know why they made that. Yet there it was. And then they did a reboot of RoboCop, which was even worse than anything ever made.
No, and there was like, didn't they like mess up Ed 209? They didn't even have Ed 209 or something. It was like, you have to have Ed 209.
In the reboot, I honestly don't even remember.
You need Ed 209.
RoboCop, believe it or not, was designed after this boy.
Yeah.
Ed 209 is like my favorite character.
Was actually meant to have a helmet visor looked like that. And
really?
They had to scan it because they was about they were going to get sued.
Oh.
They basically RoboCop is a Judge Dredd type character.
You know, I don't have a Judge Dredd action figure, and I am now immediately regretting that. So I'm gonna have to find one. I'm gonna have to go on the hunt.
Right, where's my candle button?
PJ.
Wait, no, wait. That's unkind.
Hey, PJ, move the camera. Move the camera to the cabinet.
Move
the camera to the cabinet. Go on. Up.
There it is.
Oh, that, yes. There it is.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I'm really getting the pick of the week away. And I love this pick of the week. That's why I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to do.
That's gold, man. That's beautiful.
That is nice.
I love my just basically I made a helmet out of PVA foam initially, and I used it for a Comic-Con, and one of the guys there said, and took a picture and said, John Wagner would love that because I made it out of EVA foam,
That is cool.
and that was the biggest compliment I got, and I thought it looked okay, but considering I built it myself, just trial and error. A boiler suit on, a pair of wellies that were painted green with foam over them, the gun attached, and the gun was made out of foam. That everything was made out of foam. The only thing I had it was my Judge Dredd badge, which my daughter had bought me for my birthday, and that's what I had. The rest of the stuff was all EVA foam, and I think a belt buckle. I had got the belt buckle as well for my daughter again. My daughter actually was buying all my stuff for my birthday, and the rest of it was all EVA foam. And when somebody said, I know John, he would love that, took my picture and said, "Sure." That's perfect. That's perfect description for me. But I do like my Judge Dredd. But I'm going to do that. We're going to do this.
Pick of the week.
And yes, ladies and gents, I still hate my voice going, I gotta wait.
I think it's fun.
Do that proper one. But I'm going to actually, who wants to start? Obviously, Roman, we know you just got dragged into you. But whatever that. We
Nothing
do
for me
it.
this
The
week.
things that we've got this week, things that we even picked up. That's all we do. Once a week, things that we've managed to pick up.
Your
Anybody
microphone
want to
is sort of in and
Yeah.
out, PJ.
It's because I belted it, and I think when I belted it, I've actually.
You show that microphone who's boss, Peter.
I had that habit actually knocked it senseless. I could do Barry, no Barry Kaya. He would.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
It's not Barry Kaya. It's
I can picture the guy. He was on the comedians in the Real Caps and Chanters.
All the sound is getting weird now.
because he used to do his parrot. He used to do his parrot face. Thing with Parrot Face Davis.
Freddie Parrotface Davis, but no, that was another guy you're talking about. He used to do that, but he used to deliberately stop.
You're dropping out now.
No, I'm
Who's
spoken.
dropping out
Drop. That's how the guy.
Unless StreamYard is about to boot me off, which is always possible.
No, it's basically we're talking about a guy who used to actually talk, and he would act as if he'd go, and then he'd go, mic not working, and he would act as if his mic's not working.
Yeah.
So he would talk through it, and that's how you would talk. So you would hear him. He would be talking normally, and he would go, and you sit. You can understand half his sentence because he was saying he did it so well, but he would put his sentence in three bits out, as if his mic was going on and off, on and off, on and off, and it's hilarious. I'm just trying to remember who it was. But that's a different story. Who wants to go first with a pick of the week?
Nothing for me this week.
Let me go.
Nothing for me. Nothing for us this week.
Right. Well, I'm going to go.
I'll go easy on you guys.
Uh-huh.
It's not a fresh pick of the week. I have just not managed. Apologies, I need to.
If he gets it out, I'm putting the sign up.
Beg your pardon. If he gets it out, he's getting bumped off this stream.
Oh, it's okay to flash my Ming, but if I'm pulling it out, then
you can flash your Ming, but you're not allowed to.
Countdown started. Countdown started with the.
This is not exactly a new pick of the week, but it is. I did pick up this game, board
It's
game.
upside down.
Oh.
Upside down.
What's upside down?
I picked up this video game.
Oh, that's cool.
Board game a long time ago.
Cool.
Nice.
I did not know that
love
existed.
board games.
And it is actually a
Yeah.
board game with you get a big book with Dr. Brown Enterprises,
Cool.
which is explaining the game rules. You have
that
the
is really cool.
The dice through time game.
yes, the dice through time. So it's a dice
Does it
board
have cool
game.
dice? I'm in already. I love dice.
So you get a character of Biff. There's a Biff. I can see Biff.
Yeah, I haven't even begun disassembling
I
this
know.
to try and figure out how exactly it works. But it
Well,
looks
it looks
so
quite
well made.
complicated. Mm,
Yeah, there's parts for repairing your DeLorean.
And then you have
Oh
your
wow,
die set.
very
a lot.
nice.
Your
That is a
multi-unit
lot of
dice.
dice. Yeah.
And a fairly thick, like,
Card.
shall we say, like Monopoly card rule book. So if
Oh,
you move
nice.
to a square, you
That
get
looks really
different
cool.
rules.
Cool.
And
What you do is learn how
you
to play
you
it,
you
Sid, and
have
then we'll do a
separate
stream.
you have separate colors, but all your icons that you put on the board are DeLoreans in different colors.
Sweet.
No, I have to say though, that pink one looks like Penelope Pitstop's car from the
I
Wacky
was thinking
Races.
I am certainly does, but no.
I'll say nothing about, I'll say nothing
This is
about
one I'm
Penelope Pitstop
just.
being Peter Perfect.
Yeah.
But this is the one I've been experimenting, trying to figure out how it works this week, trying to figure out what's going on, what I need to do, and how I need to understand the rules. But it is still, I'm literally just in the opening booklet
Wow.
on.
That is
This
serious.
is
That is really
this
serious.
is how you play the game.
Holy cow.
Superb.
Very
Cool, dude.
cool. Nice
Yeah.
find. You have the
So-
best charity shops, you and BJ.
Oh, my charity shop were
Might get a
great.
train down here.
I had to put half of my stuff away. The stuff I'm putting out is only a quarter of the DVDs, but it's half of the other stuff that I got. And I got a couple of things that I bought this week. So you saw the Judge Dredd book and you saw the Thunderbird stuff. I got another couple of books. And another one on the same shelf was
Look at his face. Oh,
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Nice.
he's like the Cheshire Cat when he's loving a proper treat.
So it basically Judge Dredd and it's Chief Judge. I got that as well. And I was over them. And those two books together cost me £12.
Wow.
If I wanted to purchase any one of these on eBay, it's £12.
Yeah.
The cheapest one, and it's not good condition. And the same idea, this is immaculate. There's a wee teeny crease there, and I think that's when it went into my bag, and it's my fault. And it's just because I got so much from the charity shop, I was but that is, and I got one other book. This is a right old book. And it's a nice Scottish book. The Golden Age
Oh,
Classic Fun, The Bruins and Ur Wally. Family
wow.
fun
I've never heard of
through
that.
the years. The Bruins used to be in the thing, but the Bruins are from Glasgow. Glebe Street in Glasgow. And Ur Wally is another one
Cool.
of their friends. Basically, the Bruins, you had the family, you had Grandpa Brun, Ma Brun, Pa Brun, Ken Brun, Joe Brun, the Bairn, the twins, Forrest. Forrest was the smart one with glasses, you could tell with his name. But basically, the Ur Wally, you had PC Murdoch, you had Fat Bob, you had Soapy Suitor, and you had Wee X. And that's the characters. It's a Scottish. My mum had every single one of these. My
Oh,
mum,
cool.
every year,
Wow.
my mum would actually get the most recent Bruin or Ur Wally. So that was our Christmas present. We would buy the Bruin.
Oh, that's
Ur Wally.
cool.
We had a lot. So she did. And I love the Bruins. I grew up with them. So this is the Golden Age classic fun. I don't know why I picked it up because it's a classic. I don't know why at all, but the Bruins. If you've never seen the Bruins, you don't know what you're missing. And Ur Wally.
Take care, Miranda.
Is that Miranda?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad I actually got the Judge Dredd second book out before you had to go.
Yay.
Thanks
Thanks for joining us.
That's why I was actually glad I was back there. So that was fun.
I'm even more happy that I got to show off the board game for her.
Yeah.
She has an idea what she can say.
That is the books. That is half of the stuff that was on the shelf. Those two books, the two Judge Dredd books. The other stuff was more than half. And obviously there's the Thunderbird stuff. I've got something nice.
Your mic is
You're too far.
And it, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that is
Oh, nice.
that is a real
It's
classic.
three of the movies.
Is
that
that
I
all of
don't
them?
have.
Lauren
It's only
Hardy.
three. I've already got the big collection. There's about 7 movies not in it, and these are 3 of them that weren't in the collection. So
Cool.
I added them. I'm a son of the desert. I'm on the. They're not fans. That's why it's not called a fan club. I'm in the tent, the Call of the Cuckoo tent. So I'm a Laurel Hardy boy, and even my where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Somebody's nicked my phone. Oh, it's probably me. There's my phone.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And
Very
I've got
nice.
my bowler hat sitting over there as well. That's the one I
Yeah.
use when I'm dressing up as Gary. I put my glasses on with a wee plaster on it and my bowler hat on.
That's your Nerdrotics
That's
cosplay.
So I'm a son of the desert, but so when I saw that, it's not even open. It's still sealed a lot. So I was happy with that one. But I still picked up some really fun ones. Anybody remember this one?
Yeah.
Hercules in New York.
No,
Oh,
I've
first
never.
film.
That
I've
was
never
his
seen that.
first
second
film.
movie. I think it was his second movie, if not his first.
No, his first one. But the funny thing is about that, he didn't actually voice it.
He didn't voice it
Because-
because he couldn't
No.
speak English
Yeah,
very
no,
well.
so they got
His
someone
English was
to dub it.
atrocious, so he was Hercules and they had to dub over it. Because
That must be weird.
Uh-huh.
Because you expect, Arnie's voice, but
Yeah.
to like see him and then have somebody else's voice, that must
Yeah.
be really weird.
Oh, it gets better. You know Arnie's Austrian, right?
Yeah.
And you're
Austrian.
going to tell us about his father.
No, Austrians speak German.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
Apparently, when they released the Terminator movies, they were going to do them in a German dub. So they did them in German, dubbed them into German. And Arnie, of course, native Austrian speaker, German speaker, says he's going to volunteers to do the dubbing because he speaks German. There was one slight problem with that. Have any of you ever heard Dave Prowse as Darth Vader when he's actually speaking?
Yeah.
Yes.
He had a West Cornish accent.
Right. Apparently, to the Germans, the Austrian accent is the equivalent of a West Country accent. So effectively, what you had was the German version of that would have been the Terminator, voiced by West Country accent.
We have that spot, his mouth going.
Yeah, but no, because that's what
That's
the
interesting,
Austrian,
Colin.
Yeah, I never
Austrian
realized
accent apparently sounds like the Germans. Oh, Deutsch speaking. Oh, Deutsch
That's
speaking.
funny.
Wow.
I suppose, Roman, it would be very like a very southern accent, very what they call lovingly call a backwater accent.
Right.
So
It's-
yes,
Reading
I can see in the private chat, Roman, you've got to
Yeah, I got to roll in just
Be
in
getting
a few minutes
going in a
because
minute.
it's
I'm going to miss.
it's-
I'll ignore the rest of the DVDs. There's a couple of the other ones, but that's one of the things that I purchased. You need to see this, right? As you are aware, when I was 50, my daughter bought me a Build-A-Bear, and a couple of years ago for my Christmas, she bought me a Spider-Man outfit for it. So I was in
oh,
buying one for my grandson, and I bought an outfit for him.
oh, that's sweet.
Oh, he's so
And it
cute.
does. It's on the
He
Riddler.
is so cute. The Riddler Build-A-Bear. That is adorable.
So I saw the outfit and I thought, I'm buying that.
That is a great
Is that
gift.
for your grandson? No,
That-
that's for me.
Riddle
Yeah,
me this. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that is so cool.
And it just
How
looks
cute.
absolutely stunning. I just
I want
he's
one now.
taken off his Batman one and he's now got his alter ego. The Riddler. So that is one of the things about it. Here's the other one. No, I'm sorry. This is out of B&M.
Oh, nice.
Look at the size.
That-
Wait, you got that from B&M?
Look at the
I've
size of
seen
that.
those knocking about.
That is nice. That I haven't
The
seen.
classic Dalek vinyl figurine. There was two of them. The gold and
Yeah,
black
that's
Dalek. I just got the
beautiful,
black Dalek.
man.
But
That
this
is nice. Yeah.
it's a decent sized one, so it's not one of the small ones. So pick that up in B&M. A
Sweet.
vinyl buddy. They had the Matt Smith as well, but I just went with the classic.
That
I
is
don't
like a
know
good
why because
size.
it
That
said
one.
classic Dalek here that I picked up because it said classic. I don't know why I keep on going for things like that. But there you go. That was my two I bought. So I thought I'd find something so before you had to bounce Roman.
That's really cool. You know, you'll find it odd that I do love an action figure.
If I didn't, I would never have known that. But no, I picked that one up. The only unfortunate thing about it is the logo. On it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's coming out
ew.
the box
Yeah.
anyway, the Genesis
Yeah.
Kit, so
That is
it's coming out the
major.
box anyway, but I just wanted to show it before.
That's what
That
God
was
made colour tape for.
Yeah, we have broken down and sort of gotten stuff even with the logo on it because it's just so cool. The
Some of
B&M sets.
some of the good, the new stuff, the classic stuff is coming out and it's got the old logo and I'm.
Oh, I know.
But as soon as I get it, I just take it out.
Yay.
No, that's really cool. It's great. It's a great
Yeah.
figure.
Yep. Thank you very much for joining us. You're always welcome. And
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I've had a great time. This has been just
Yay.
an awful lot of fun. Love talking geeky because we could literally do this for
Ever.
many more hours. But
Yeah.
Oh, Roman, don't get me started because I have seen your T-shirt. That is
Oh.
an
Iron
amazing
Maiden.
band.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I
great
am a
music.
huge Iron Maiden fan. For my birthday coming up next month, Mrs. of the Empire is going to be getting me somewhere back in time on vinyl. So I'm excited about that.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool.
Yes,
why
wow.
don't you
Yeah.
plug your channel before you have to go?
Oh, so it is Roman of the Empire. I do a Thursday show every week at 5 Pacific Standard Time. And
We had the problem yesterday.
we had to break that down. And I am often on with Father Miller for his Friday night stretch, or
Oh,
we
cool.
will wing it if he is not on. And that's pretty much me at this point. So I cover all the stuff. I do more modern reviews. If there's a show out, which there isn't really right now, I will do my weekly reviews of that show. But I don't really have a show that I'm willing to review right now. Star Wars is off. I'm still getting over
Wonder what
Kenobi. I've got a little PTSD from that, so it's going to take me a minute to get back on board for the reviews. But anyway, that's me. And again, thank you all for having me. I hope I'm able to come back next week if the chair is open. I'll be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're always welcome.
You're always welcome. Thank you
Well,
very much.
thank you very much, guys, and you have a great Friday.
Take care, Roman.
Thank you for joining us.
Right, Saturday.
All right.
Roman.
Saturday.
Oh, is it? I don't even know what day. Wait, what day is it? Is
Don't
it
worry.
Saturday? It is Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll be
I know.
damned.
I know
Don't worry.
I know the
You are
US
not on
is in
your
a
own
slightly
there.
different time zone, but I didn't think it was that far back.
It's not
No.
that. To be fair, I'm retired. Yeah, all the days are
No,
the same to me.
You're
so
allowed.
it's,
You're allowed if you're retired. Yeah.
All
All
days
right,
are
everyone.
ending with the Y. Have a good one, Roman.
you guys take
Yeah,
care.
Roman.
Take care.
Right. Right. Come on, there you go. But I just love him.
He's adorable.
Yeah,
Where did they?
he's
Where did they?
Build a bear.
It's just so right off the website, or did they go into like a Build-A-Bear
Went
shop?
into the shop- Went into the shop, but they'll be on the
Yeah.
website. £16 for the outfit. And it's
Oh, that's not bad.
a complete match. The stick.
Now the question is, which Riddler are you going to introduce your grandson to first? Is it going to be Jim Carrey?
Batman
Frank
66
Gorshin.
Riddler. He's going to
Frank
get the Batman
Gorshin.
66, then he's going to
Frank
get the
Gorshin.
Riddler, the what do you call him? Jim Carrey
The
Riddler.
original
That's
Riddler.
who this
Oh
is.
yeah,
This is the Jim Carrey Riddler.
yeah. That does look like the Jim Carrey coat. Yeah.
So he's going to get the Batman 66 Riddler first, then Jim Carrey. Because Jim Carrey did a very good job as the Riddler. So that's why, although it's not the 66, they also have a Batman outfit for the bear. So they do. and I can't remember what Batman it is, but it's not Batman 66.
I want a Xena Build-A-Bear.
No, that would be good. A
That
Xena.
would be good. Or Hercules, or I
Hold
think
on.
I'd rather have like Xena.
Apologist.
See,
I want an
Xena.
apologist one. I want the tack and everything.
Zine. That sounds. Hold on.
What was that?
Xena.
You cut out.
As in Lucy Lawless. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to hold on a second. So, no, that must be an alternate universe because there were no strong female characters before 2015.
Well, I know. Yeah. Well, this is it.
So you
Yeah.
must have been dreaming an alternate universe, Wendy.
I actually came over from another universe. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got
Back when we
Cleo
actually
back.
had female role models, like, you know,
Proper
we've
real
had
female role models
Jane
like
Goodall,
Tina.
you know, the
Kick
primatologist
ass,
for like
and
ever, but
everything
you know, she never existed. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Can we all please go back to that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got another role model that one of my DVDs. I've got another role model you might like.
Hold on. Let me go back to that tab.
Oh no! Oh no!
What is that?
Oh, or my
God.
Sylvester Stallone.
I have a challenge. I have a challenge to this one. Did this one come first, or did Modesty Blaze come first? Because she was a female James Bond, and as I recall it, she had comic books, she had films in the 60s.
Yep.
Estelle Getty
Monica
is
Pitt,
just
61.
superb.
There was another one in the early 2000s as well. And sadly, they never bloody made a sequel because it was pretty damn good. Second one as well.
I love Estelle Getty. It's not the Sylvester Stallone I like this. It's Estelle Getty. I think she is absolutely amazing.
I love this one because Sylvester Stallone, up until this point, didn't have the capability to catch up with Arnold Schwarzenegger doing Twins and all of those others like Christmas Cop, Kindergarten Cop, or whatever it was. Schwarzenegger was adapting so well to comedy, but this is the first one that Stallone had an opportunity to, and then he really grasped it. He really found his way of doing comedy, and it was brilliant.
Apparently, Schwarzenegger was trying to take that role for a laugh, and then Stallone got wind of it, and Stallone went up for the role, and apparently it was a ruse against Stallone because Schwarzenegger didn't want to do it first.
Wow.
So it was a wind-up, really.
Yep. So I couldn't resist it when I picked that one. Another one I picked up, which I really like.
That's good, Bill.
Shelley Long and Tom
Oh,
Hanks,
that's a
The
funny
Money
film.
Pit.
Is that the one with the
Yes.
bathtub that falls through the floor?
Yeah, that's the one with the house.
Yeah.
And they wake up and things like that. They go, oh, and there's no windows because the building are freaking out, and they're leaning through, going, ah. Stuff like
That was a funny film. Yeah.
It's hilariously fun. To me, that was the one. It was the precursor to the Lee Evans one, Mousetrap. Same idea, but the difference is they were the two fixing the house, and it was a mouse, and they wrecked the house trying to fix it to get rid of this mouse. But to me, it was the Money Pit was the one that actually laid that groundwork for that hit movie. And it wasn't the first one, but I think it was the best one, and because of that, people were just starting to try and copy. And talking about ones that people try and copy.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah,
that's a nice one. Yeah,
a fun movie, and
it's lovely, and it's very poignant as well. It's very nicely done.
John, he's absolutely fun in this one. He
was great.
It's like playing the Polka King from Home Alone. It's more of a sadder version of that character, I think, he plays in this. And that's what it reminds me when he played the Polka King in Home Alone. Remember? this it reminded me of this because this one was his character was a similar type.
PJ,
Yes.
check the private chat.
Okay. Telling me to shut up. Are you-
No, I spent 20 minutes.
Norman Collier. That's who it
Yeah.
was.
That
Norman
link. That link's
Collier.
actually him doing it, and we'll have some shunters for the comedians.
Right, I'll just to get the
That's
by
what I've
the
been doing for the last 20 minutes, mate. Doing your research for you.
I know, perfect. Norman Collier. Right, I'm going to actually shove this on just before I do my last 3 DVDs because I'm very pleased with these last 3, and one of them is iconic. One of them is what the class is history making TV. So I'll do that after
Cool.
we do Norman Collier, right? Because I love Norman Collier. It's just the way he does it.
I just go down to trying to think who it was. I could not remember.
Yeah, that was the problem. I just could not remember who it
Like,
was.
I ended up by putting British comedian Broken Mike into DuckDuckGo, and eventually it came back for 2nd October as Norman Collier.
Yeah. So there's Norman Collier there. Let's listen to it.
Hopefully it won't do the bloody adverts.
No, I've already bypassed the advert.
Oh,
The Real Tappers and Service Club, I love that.
yeah.
Waterville, thank you, Bernard. Testing, testing, testing. Good evening, ladies and concert tonight. Albert, back to the room. I'll keep going. Oh, I'm here, but I keep on biting loose. Can you hear me? Back in the room. I'll keep. Oh, I'm here, but I keep on firing. The dog lover. Hello. Give him a chance, please. He's doing his best.
He used to do the Real Tappers and Service. He was hilarious. But
This is a
that was
inspired me.
basically it. Norman Collier, that's who it is. And he was superb at it because he just managed to actually drag you in and you're thinking, is this Mike gone? It was just, it's fun. But thank you, Colin. That's perfect. That's exactly who it was, Norman Collier. As soon as you said it's on, I thought, how did I miss that? But I'll go with my last 3 DVDs. The final one, I put it to the bottom for a particular reason. Because this one is, to me, iconic. And I've told my wife, and my wife is going about it. And I think she's going to love it. Because I remember the story, I remember the programme, I remember things that happened in it. It was so iconic. And I thought, a good few years ago, when it first was on TV, before you had video recorders to record it. But that was ones that I loved.
Oh, we were just doing. It's funny. We were humming the theme song to that.
I love that theme song.
Yeah.
My sound is a bit muffled sounding. Is it again? Is my sound a bit muffled?
Yes.
Am I better now?
I can hear you on the moon.
Right. So is that a bit better?
Yep.
Right. I don't know what it's this mic. I knew I'd cut out the soundboard for a reason. So sorry. Thank you. So rhubarb. Yeah, I love rhubarb.
Yeah, Darren introduced me to that and his cousin. Yeah.
You had rhubarb and custard the cat. I loved this. So I did. And when I saw it, the complete collection.
Wow.
Oh, I was so happy.
That is so cool. Yeah.
And I picked up another one that I used to watch. Saturday Morning Special. Remember the things you used to watch on a Saturday morning?
Oh, yeah.
Remember what the BBC or the TV used to put on a Saturday morning for kids? Any suggestions what this one might be? It was a Saturday morning.
What era? What era?
You're talking about when I was a kid, so you're talking about a good 45, 50 years ago.
When I start counting certain yellow fruits,
No, it wouldn't be na 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 na. It's definitely not
Banana
that.
splits. Yes,
It's
I
not
love
the
that.
banana splits. That's one of the things that used. This was
So
a
we're talking
TV.
pre-banana splits.
This wasn't a show like that. This was a TV show.
Was it a cartoon or was it a
No, it
live
was a
action
cartoon.
show?
It was a live action TV show. Remember, you used to have things. I'll tell you one. It's not, so you get the idea. Remember, you used to have Champion the Wonder Horse. Champion the Wonder Horse.
If you
Yeah.
That's
start
it.
singing about fucking swords or white bloody horses,
This one has got a very distinctive tune, and I can't even go too much into it, unfortunately, because I've even mentioned a wee bit about it. There's only two things it could be if I even mention it.
actually, the ones I'm thinking of were more. I remember from school holidays rather than Saturday morning. So I used to do Saturday morning flicks, but
No, this was a Saturday morning TV show,
yeah.
so it wasn't a movie. So it wasn't his Champion and Wonder Horse, but you get the idea that it was a TV show of that era, and it was of that type. So it wasn't a cartoon. It wasn't like the Banana Splits variety type show with cartoons and bits and pieces in it. This was one that every week there was an episode.
Nope. No
You
idea.
wouldn't start going, "G'day, would you Timmy falling down a well?"
Oh, I forgot. Yes,
Skippy,
I remember Skippy.
Skippy, the best
That's lovely.
kangaroo. Where is he, Skip?
Oh, that's a
Where is he?
classic.
I loved that when
That's
I
a
was a kid.
classic,
And as soon
yeah.
as I thought The Adventures of Skippy, yeah,
Hey.
that's the Hammond family. So it's just obviously there's 16 episodes. So I'm actually happy
Oh,
with it.
that's
I'm going to watch
lovely.
that.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
watch
a nice,
that over the next
nice,
couple of weeks.
nice bit
So
for the collection. Yeah.
it is definitely one for the collection. Definitely one for someone who used to Saturday was very special because I used to get up and watch this stuff. I love it.
Oh,
Lucky you did mention that.
This last one, this one is classed as iconic TV. This DVD box set is the 25th anniversary of it. So you're talking about, yeah, I would say 25 to 30 years ago it was, because I don't think this is just out, this DVD box set. And it is actually really good condition, but it is classed as the event that made television history. That's the tagline on the DVD. Anybody got a good an idea even?
mini. Was it Roots? Yeah.
Nice one, Wendy.
As soon as you said that, I don't know why, but I was just like, that's the first thing that came to mind. Yeah.
I thought this was very, because
That was a very powerful miniseries. Back when they could tell. Yeah, they could.
Sorry,
That's when they
sorry.
told a
Go
story
ahead,
about-
Gwen.
So, that's okay, Jim. Go ahead.
No, I was just absolutely agreeing with you, because this was
Yeah.
back when they actually dared tell
Yep.
a proper story of something that
Yes.
it isn't nice.
Correct.
Not-
Yeah.
and it's,
And they
it's a
didn't-
story
they
and
didn't
how
try
how
and-
they found out. Yeah.
The only problem
Yeah,
being
that's a
they had
really-
apparently that it was all a load of hardly any of it was actually happened to Alex Haley's ancestors. Apparently, it turned out
Mhm.
a while later, a lot of it wasn't true, or at least it
Yeah.
wasn't.
See, the thing is, yes, even I was aware of that thing, but do you know why I loved this show?
Because Geordie doesn't have his beret on his eyes.
That was before I realised that was LeVar Burton. I
Yeah.
must admit. It was only when somebody mentioned it, I thought, so he was. It was one of those afterthoughts. But it was the fact is, prior to this, anything we'd seen from the States, you had the Song of the South and stuff like that. It was not. It basically didn't go over it, but it didn't show how bad it was. People, because we didn't get taught it in school or anything like that. We got taught European history and stuff like that. You would hear about things about you would watch things like Spartacus, and that's different. But you never knew or something that was only a couple of 100 years
But
old.
even Spartacus is something that's disconnected from us, from, shall we say, Northwest Europe.
Yes, but it's
It
also
is
the
like
fact
a
that it's
mythological
thousands,
hero.
it's thousands of years old. So that was in the distant past. That's what I'm saying. So even what
Yeah.
you saw there, them get the slaves getting crucified, it was things that happened in the distant past. This brought it up to date,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this brought my mom to tears because when she was watching that, and she just could not believe it. And it was that's why it was so iconic. I remember some of the things that I'm sitting there. I still remember things that happened in it, like when they ran away and he got brought back, and they gave him a choice what was getting cut off.
Yeah, I can't
That
watch it again because I mean it
that
was
that
really
scene,
difficult to watch,
that scene haunted me. Do
but
you want
very
to do that
powerful
with a
and
knife?
very.
And he goes, and then he went like that. Do you want to lose that? And he went, so you was losing his foot because I think if I had the choice, I know what I would take the foot, please take the foot. But it was just so, it was barbaric without actually showing you the physical barbarism
The-
because they didn't show it.
But
Actually
it
cut
was
off.
because they still had the freedom to tell a story,
Yes,
tell
and
the
it's so
consequences
iconic.
of you did a bad decision without
Yeah.
showing how gruesome the
Well, that's the thing.
consequences was. Because at the end of the day, even whatever we do today, we take a decision, and so few of us are actually contemplating what are the consequences. Yes, I did good for this moment, but what in 5 weeks from now, 5 months from now, is that good decision going to come back and haunt me? It was a good decision to run away because he was obviously not being treated quite, shall we say, nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he actually gets
Glory's
caught
another.
and had to come up with
Yeah.
the penalty,
Yeah. That's
what
another
is the
great movie. Glory.
consequence? Yeah, what is the consequence of what he did? And I will mention another film here, and although I can't believe how the lady has transformed in how many years there are, but The Color of Purple.
Aye.
Yes.
I picked that up
Yeah.
today. That was on my thing for next week, but I picked that up today for my wife, and she said
Yeah.
she's never heard of it. I says Whoopi Goldberg is really good in it, and no matter, I think she's a nutcase.
Well,
It
we have
is a very
Glover
iconic.
in
So
it
that's
as
another
well
one I picked
from
up. But it's-
Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
Tons of really good actors, and the story is just harrowing.
Yeah,
It's brutal.
it is because I picked that up as well, and I told my wife she would really like it, and she likes.
One of the things that got
drama.
one of the things that got me, I remember looking back on it about Roots, not so much from the stepping back one, is all the actors they had in it, and you're thinking, I mean, when did that come out? The 70s?
Well, since his 25th anniversary, and
I'm just trying to think roughly how old.
Had to be this-
I can say what time it came out, but
Late
I
70s,
always conflate it with the North and South TV drama that came out. That
I
was
love
kind of like
stuff. I love.
Dallas.
North and South.
era.
I remember that one. I
Yeah,
remember North.
I remember
and South.
North. I remember North and South for two reasons. It's a very good story, and I really did like the ladies' fashions. Now, what I was going to say was that with that, there were a lot of people. You look at the actors that played the really bad, clowny racists. You've got Lloyd Bridges. And you've got actors in up until then you've seen, and you tended to associate with the heroic type one. I mean, it wasn't even.
Yes.
What's his one? I've brain switched off. Doug McClure. I think Doug McClure was in it as a bad guy as well. I think.
Oh God, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. These days, you think that they wouldn't be able to make that anymore because
1977.
be allowed to play racist unless you were racist. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't speak to you soon, Colin, because I think they are remaking it.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, how could you do anybody, because you can only play what you are. So how would they have anybody who could actually play the Confederates and the racists, because they'd all get accused of being racists? And again, apparently they're making there's a film I would almost have been interested in seeing coming up called The Female King. And it's basically about the tagline is that it's about the king, the Amazons who were his personal guard. Kind of think Black Panther, but in real history, fighting against the Europeans who want to destroy the way of life. The only problem is, what I suspect they're not going to say is life the Europeans are trying to destroy is the British Empire trying to stop them selling slaves. It's the story, fascinating, really interesting story about the king of Dahomey in Benin.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it just now. Right, some of the names of the white actors in this: Lloyd Bridges, Chuck Connors.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, Lorne Green.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Lorne Green. But he'll always be Adama to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who that's my Adama. And then you've got Ralph Waite. Remember Paul Walton?
Yeah.
Yep. Ed Ashner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just some of the things. But you look at other cars, right? Obviously, you've got LeVar Burton, but you've got John Amos played the older version of Count Kinty. See, that was the thing as well. That program was so iconic that I still remember that it wasn't Alex Haley. It was Count Kinty, because of the way they told the story about how he tried to keep his name, and eventually they didn't know. Nobody knew his name, what it was, and then they went back and they were listening to the village elders telling the story of the tribe, and they got to the part where two of the warriors were taken away, and that's when they found out this is the tribe they came from because of the name, and it's just so iconic, and I still remember that after.
Yeah.
So 1977.
Okay,
that 5 years?
Can't be even longer.
Ooh, that was a good year.
And in fact, if you think about it, it's the 70s, so you've still got all these youngish black actors.
George Stanford Brown, Christ Almighty.
Yeah, Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you've got all these actors, and they're coming up, and as I said, you know, most of them they are actually the good guys. You know, but what I think you certainly would not get now is, I remember there was one bit where they, after the one bit, it's only Roots or the sequel, where one of the white guys tries to defend the ex-slaves, gets beaten. You know, you wouldn't get that these days. It showed, and it did show the fact that there were white people who weren't all evil slavers.
Yeah. That's the thing. That to me is, as soon as I saw that was the first one I went in. As soon as I saw that, I thought, picking up. Didn't even need to actually think, would I watch it? Yeah, it's picked up because that was just so iconic, even for me growing up. So 77, I was 12. I was 12 when this was on the TV. You know what I mean? So I just think this is the type of movie that I want people to see. We need to see type of movies like this, because it shows. Yeah, it's not historically accurate, but it shows the type of things that were happening, and I think that's more important. It's like, see, Braveheart, right? I always flag Braveheart. It's not historically accurate. As a Scotsman, I can see that. However, there is the feeling of how the Scots felt towards the English in it. and that I can understand why it was popular. Historically, it is not a historical movie. But then
Yeah.
again, anything they say is based on a true story, which means it's very, 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 very based on a true story. There's this guy might be the right person, and it was roughly around this time, and he'd done
Yeah.
similar things to this. That's as near as you're going to get to a true story in anything, because as soon as you look at the Freddie Mercury story, right? The
Yeah.
story of Queen, and it's because my wife was watching and says that's really good. That is a, a true life story. I says it's no. How no? Is because see that happened about 15 years before. They just changed it because it was better for the movie. She goes, oh, I says, remember Laurel and Hardy, based on a true story. She said, huh? The Stan and Ollie. I says, that's not how it happened. It was good because it gave the feeling of a pair of very famous people who felt as if they were on a decline, and then they went on a tour that lifted them up. But that's not how it happened. The way they got the cheers at the end actually happened when they first landed in Ireland. So as soon as they landed, that's what happened. So in every place they went to, they got cheers and it was crowded because it was Stan and Ollie. It wasn't a case of only a few people here and there, and I didn't really recognise them. So they changed the whole story to make
They
it
just
fit the
did it for
narrative.
dramatic
The
effect.
narrative was about how people who were on a decline and they needed that boost, which I had no issues with it. It's still a good movie.
Well, I think
But
the big. No, I said
based
I
on
think the controversy with Roots wasn't so much from what I remember, wasn't so much that it wasn't historic. It was that it turned out that Alex Haley had put it down as his family history, and it wasn't so much the historical. It wasn't Alex Haley's story. If I remember right, that as I recall, that's what a lot of the fuss was. The series itself, as you say, superbly, perfectly did what it did exactly what it was intended to do.
yeah.
I wonder if I'm not surprised Nick Hodges never did a review of Roots, but then he doesn't very often do series, does he? None of his films.
No, he has done some really good stuff, Nick Hodges. He even actually did. I loved his Waterloo. I've got Waterloo, and
Yeah,
I thought that was great. But
I
he,
love the way
he did things like Casino. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But I do love the way he's. I love his review of Braveheart when he gets 30 seconds in before he starts swearing.
Yeah.
Almost. What? The year that comes up, he does it
As
so
soon as it comes
well.
up. See, I understood that, but the thing is, the very first time I saw it, it's one of the first movies that people stood up and cheered. And to me, it was because it was the feeling behind the movie.
Yeah,
We all knew the movie was know exactly what happened, but it had that feeling. I suppose it's like the other Mel Brooks one, The Patriot.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. I
Mel
wish it was Mel Brooks. It would have been a better movie.
Oh, that would have been a
A
classic.
better movie. But
Yeah.
Mel Gibson's one, The Patriot. Same again. I can understand why a lot of Americans liked it because it showed it obviously had a thing against the English, but Braveheart and then The Patriot. It was the Scots against the English, and then it was the Americans against. I just thought it was funny. It's just basically I can understand why because the movie was inaccurate, but it had that feeling for the Revolutionary War, so I can understand that. And I don't have issues when they're using certain things as long as they don't say this is a true story. No, it's based on or it's inspired by. I can accept that nothing I see in the screen is true unless it's a documentary. I don't get annoyed about it. If a documentary starts going through stuff as if it's true and we know it's not, that's when I get annoyed because a documentary should be actual. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it should be factual. They tell you exactly what happened and whose life it was and what happened to them.
I agree.
Document.
The only problem I have with those is I saw an argument which I thought was quite a cogent argument, was that if people watch Braveheart. Let's use Braveheart. People watch Braveheart, and it gets them interested in history.
Yeah,
which is a good thing. But the problem is, if it means they've got to, the first thing they've got to do is unlearn what they've been taught, what they think is true from the film. That's a bad thing, because if you come into something, it's like if you come into something and you start at 0, and you just move up from there, you do it up from there. But if you come in at 5, and then you have to, or actually no, shit, that's all wrong. So you've got to go back to 0 and then build up again.
And then it's a case of, but I thought. No.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, I can actually see both sides of that argument as a historian on myself.
It's the same as anything. Like if I went into stonemasonry again, right?
Yeah.
I'll go in because I had knowledge, because I used to make headstones. I used to work with granite and used to work with marble. I used to work with terrazzo. So I can go in with somebody who's got 0 knowledge. I would be more confident doing it. However, I'll have a lot of things that are outdated, and I would have to unlearn, because this is the way it used to be done.
Yeah.
So even though I have to unlearn, I'm confident enough to do the work, and whereas somebody's never done it might be comfortable. So you've got the same with history. Somebody's come in, watched that, and have to unlearn that, but because they've actually know they've got an interest in it, it's easier for them to unlearn, because they're confident enough that well, I'll find that out, because they've already got the interest because that movie brought them in. Whereas somebody's thought, I need to actually check out and find out about that, and then grow up with an interest. There seems to be a longer way to get into it, where somebody unlearning and relearning, the interest is there, so it helps them do that.
Yeah,
so there's 2 ways of doing it, and I can understand both.
I mean, I can actually see both sides of the argument. Is that it brings people in, but it brings them in to give them a lot of information that they then need to unlearn. That's not necessarily helpful.
Yeah. But it just goes to show, but a perfect TV show to finish the pick off. It's just, I've still got the amount of DVDs there. I've still got over there twice as much at least. Some of them will not be showed because they're maybe like an episode of this and that. It's to add to my collection of other TV shows that I've already got. But the colour purple is over there, but that's part of my wife's collection, so I've set aside. But I was so happy and see what I got for next week as well. Not me. I'm not getting nicked. But the other thing that I picked off of that shelf, I'm going to show next week, and I am so happy. I am so happy to be something to look for a wee while.
I saw what Jacob said there. Actually, I know what you're saying, mate, but
Jacob was doing this movie.
300 was 300 is an actually very good film. In it's based on a plot, but more to the point, it's I know exactly what you're saying, Jacob. Yeah, based on true story, exactly. But the thing with 300 is that it's not actually intended to be a historical movie.
Because it's a comic book movie.
No, not even so much that. What it is, it's actually supposed to be a mythology movie, because it's based on all of it is told from the point of view of, I can't remember the actor's name who was going to be, but the one guy that loses an eye and that actually survives or gets sent home. And then
the one that's sent home with the message.
Yeah, and so he tells the story. So he's telling it. So of course he's making the Persians up to be real monsters. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly, Jacob. You're absolutely right, mate. I mean, I agree with you entirely. Based on a true story, yeah.
Yeah. It's the same idea, but also remember the 300. The movie was based on the graphic novel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, the graphic was very It was very designed for the Blu-ray. It was
but it was. I must admit, there was bits and pieces in it were really, really good. Bits in it I thought were a bit cringeworthy, like the god, the Persian king being, and then the guy who portrayed them. You know what I mean? Yeah, the portrayed the person as who portrayed him. Is the only reason he portrayed him is because he was deformed and evil and stuff like that. I could see where they were going with it, and it was for the comic book or the graphic novel. I could understand why they were portraying it that way. And as you said, the story was told from the survivor's point of view. So all those parts.
I have never seen The Patriot.
The Patriot's actually an okay movie.
I partly because I've never felt the interest to watch it. You know,
it's an okay movie. If you like that genre, it's good to watch because
I might watch it one these days because it's.
It'd be like saying did you like Braveheart, even though you know it's inaccurate or whatever?
I like Braveheart.
What
story?
You said that you told out. I like Braveheart.
Yeah, but I do not. Well, for two things. I have to admit, I'm English. I find it, and I'm unfortunately, I find it a little bit difficult. I have to be very careful to separate that and say, yeah, okay, so we're the bad guys in this. You know, no one likes seeing themselves portrayed as the bad guys.
Yes, of course.
But what I mean is, as a historical movie, very good. As a history movie, I can see lots of flaws in it, not just in the storytelling.
Yeah, there is a lot of Braveheart and the Patriot have similar ideas, but yes, the English are the baddies in Braveheart, and it's the British. Basically, the English are the baddies in the Patriot.
My favourite thing about Braveheart basically is that William Wallace is about twice as far from Woad as he is from a kill.
Yes, yes, I'm aware of that. And the fact that he wasn't a peasant farmer.
No, he was a
yeah.
The good thing is actually, second
nobleman.
Yeah, he was a minor nobleman.
He was a nobleman. His uncle. He was sent to his uncle to learn because he was a nobleman. It wasn't a case of because all his family died. But it's historical reenactment, rewriting as they've done from many times. How many times have they actually tried to rewrite history across the board? Which we're all aware of now but it was. See, I would have said it. This Braveheart was round about the time leading up to the Scottish independence, but it was not even that. It was lead up to the time of the Devolution Act, and that's where it was. It was a case of, but why can't we run our own country? Now we've got SNP. We are saying, please don't let us run our own country, because we'll be Sri Lanka's next door neighbour if the SNP get to run Scotland. They're already doing that old thing, mate, and I'm saying nothing about things like this. But it's as my father used to put it, you can hate the English, but you love the English people. And it's the government. That's what it was. It's the government. It's the same as you can hate the Scots, but you can still love the Scottish people. It's they're different. They're different people. They're different entities.
The anodyne to Braveheart is that video. Horrible history.
Yes. Oh yes. But it's anybody thinks like these programs are realistic, watch the historian. What's his channel called? I can't be bothered hunting it.
History Buffs.
History Buffs.
Yeah.
I just couldn't be bothered. The History Buffs, if you want to actually watch, he does he did Casino and stuff like that. So he goes into other things, not just
He did two on.
movies.
He did the first season or 2 seasons on.
Vikings.
No, on ones I haven't seen was about the hunt for Pablo Escobar, Narcos.
Yes, but he's done a lot like that, and it's really good because he tells you where they went right and where they went wrong. But it's also a case of he understands why they changed parts of the story because it's storytelling and factual things for storytelling won't work. It's like yes, and William Wallace came in and just went stab. That's it, dead. That's it. We won the war. It's not for a story that's not very good. So you want him to be fighting him and actually tracking him down and doing this to end up with that part. But if it was just a case of William Wallace came in and killed him, it's as a story, it's visually as the facts, it's fine. That's it. But as a story, you're going, give us more, give us more. So I can understand why these movies embellish.
Do you want to know something interesting about the production?
Do
you want to know something interesting about the production of this film? It was 3 weeks in Scotland, and they shot the battle scenes in Ireland with the Irish Army Reserves as extras.
This surprised me because I mean, if it was the Scots wouldn't know. No, pretend. You're not meant to do it for real. Oh, this is just a Saturday night, Bros. I used to play a game, and it was a battlefield game. So you only had two types of troops. You had archers and you had swordsmen, right? And it was all to do with the number you could collect, because you had to have X amount, and you could gain more if you won the previous battle. And then you could train different types. You had to train them up, but you also had to put them in formations. And it depends what you do. So one gets the attack one, and it was just a very. Put it this way, it used to run on a floppy disk. And that's how long ago it was. But it was quite a good wee game. But we used to call it the Saturday Night Special, because you'd plug it in, set it up. You would have one army at this side, one army at that side, and then this army was attacking, and they would be in maybe a square, and then they would charge in, and you would have all the other guys all in a semicircle, and they would be firing bows in, and then when they gets in, the guys in the centre you've got in a line would charge in and finish them off, and you would just see piles of bodies heaped up. That's why we called it a Saturday Night Special. That happened down in Shelton. Every week. It was basically you could watch the gangs fighting, and it was a Saturday Night Special. So this game to us was just something we saw every week. And it was,
well, I would imagine the archers depends how many arrows you get off, because you get enough. If you've got enough archers and you get enough arrows off the
But it's just one of those wee games. It was, But we used to call it Saturday Night Special because it was a fun wee game, because it gives you a wee bit of tactics. You can't actually have all your archers in a square when you're getting attacked, because half of them can't shoot. So you had to put them in a semicircle, and you would have to make sure if you're doing a semicircle, you might have to have a block in the centre to attack if so many of them get through. Because if the swordsmen get through, then your archers were getting taken out. And it's things like that. So it gave you a wee bit of tactics. It was just a very basic, as I said, floppy disk game. So it wasn't anything special. But it was fun to play. But we used to call it Saturday Night Special because at the end of each battle there was always a pile of bodies.
One of my favourite computer games of all time was a game called Marsport.
What was it called?
Marsport.
Marsport.
Okay. On the Sinclair ZX Spectrum 48K.
I had the ZX81.
I forget which one I had, but I had the Spectrum.
I had several Spectrums.
I had we started with the ZX81, then we went to the 16K Spectrum, the 1648 Spectrum, the 48 128 Spectrum, and the 128 with the micro drive.
Yep, I remember that. But that shows you how small it was. Right? But it was a puzzle game, and it was 8-bit graphics, and it was red and black. It was monochrome, but red and black wasn't red and white. The basic story was you had to was you were stuck in a Mars base. It was 9 squares, a level, and 9 levels, and you had you could get from one level to you had to get around. You had to solve clues and this sort of thing. I mean, the one that I remember is that you had locks and you had Star Trek replicators, in effect. And one of the ones, for example, you had to go around to, and you had to collect. I think it was water, baking tin, and flour. Yep. You go up to the manufactory, you stick these in, door shuts, door opens up, and out comes the cake. You go to the bakery, you put the bakery into the key thing for the cake, so you put the cake into the key slot for the bakery, and it opens the bakery. Things like that. You know, it was I've actually got, I had on, I don't got on this one, but on several of my previous machines, I actually had it with Spectrum emulators as well to play it, because it was...
Yeah, I've got Spectrum emulators. Remember, what was the one that you had to actually fight, and you had to collect an army, and each commander of each army you had to name.
I had several of those. I had because
I remember Saberwolf, Jet Set Willie, Manic Miner, Attic Attack. I loved all of those games.
I went up. So what got me was, I'm sure a few years ago now, that there used to be at my local, no longer there, it's been knocked down actually, sports centre, but they used to have computer fairs, and you could get a disc, and it would have your emulators on it, and then it would have about 800 Atari games or Amiga or whatever games on the one bloody CD. The difference in that, when you load something like the amount of space something like Fallout New Vegas takes now, compared to the amount of space a game took then.
Yeah, I'm just actually trying to find the. I'm sure it was Blizzard games used to do it, and I'm just trying to remember what it was called.
I went up from the Spectrum. I went on to the Atari ST, and then I went on to.
I remember Blizzard Pass on it. You remember that one?
No. I don't know. I got. Do you remember you used to get magazines and gave you basic programs and told you how they worked?
Yeah.
When
and they would give you run-throughs as well. You would have because Saberwolf, I remember getting the manual, the manual, and actually opening it. Not the manual, there was the monthly magazine, and you open it, and there had the full map for Saberwolf.
Yeah.
So effectively, it was like levels, but you would go in one side, out the other, so you weren't going up and down. So it was almost like a full track. So if you had to go up a level, it would take you to the end, and the only way out of it was to go up. So the rest of it, you were starting at the left, and you would go moving right all the time. And if you had to go up, you went up, and then you had to go back and go right. So when it was on the map, it was literally a zigzag. That's what you were doing. So they had the map set size.
I remember I learned the program in BASIC with 8-bit graphics.
Yep.
Yeah. bin/8 number, all that. And there was a game called The Emerald Crown, which was a text-based game, and very simple one. And basically, you were planted in the middle of somewhere, and you had to go and find the crown. And then you fought something, and if you fought something, and if you won, it disappeared. I learned how to do it, and I combined that with Marsport, and I had a moon base. It's only one level, unfortunately, but what you had to do in my game is you had to find the key card and put the key card into the master computer, which would then which would then put the shields back up, and you'd be safe. But I remember having to program it so that you you appeared randomly, the key card appeared randomly, the computer appeared randomly, and you never and they were always in 3 separate locations. Things like the text handling, things like you'd go into a room, you have a blaster, and your blaster had 10 shots, and every time you shot something and you killed something, you use that one shot. So you then had to find a charging port. You put your blaster in the charging port, you tried to come back, and it was fully charged again. And when you went back where you killed something, the dead body was there rather than there being nothing. So I'm fascinated at having to learn how to do these sort of things with basic. So, it was literally a case of, okay, if you go, the code can be something, you go to the woman, if you kill something, A, and if A, then in the room you see, and you have a lookup table, and it would be a security robot.
Yeah.
You'd shoot the security robot, and it would then change the code so that next time you went back in there, you see a deactivated security robot. Things like that you could actually do with, I love doing those things.
Yeah.
So much.
I'm just looking at this based on talking about old games. Look at some of the games you got. Right, you get Jetpack, Run the Gauntlet, but there's Epic Attack for the Spectrum.
Gauntlet.
Remember that one as well? Manic Miner.
Yep. Gauntlet was good.
Live and Let Die, License to Kill, Football Manager, Manic Miner, Desert Rats. And I remember Desert Rats, it was just basically a sort of screen, and you had, it was a and it was different sizes. I remember those games. Donkey Kong, Batman, Alphabet, but it's Dynamite Dan. I even remember that one. But it's someone's further down. I was not myself. You've got a lot of James Bond ones. Miss Pac-Man, Commando, Robocop, Samantha Fox, Strip Poker. I mean, there's Saberwolf as well. Saberwolf has and Manic Miner as well. But I remember all these games. I used to have loads of them. Spit and Image games, you had stuff like that. Dan Dare.
I remember there was a series of games for different platforms called GAT or Stack, which was basically graphic adventure creator.
Yeah.
And it actually step you through making shoot 'em ups and how how to do text adventures and that sort of
Look, there's Jet Set Willy, Chucky Egg.
Oh.
I remember playing Chucky Egg for weeks on weeks.
Back in
Miami
the days
Vice.
And the thing was, you actually had to have gameplay because what much is really great as some games are.
Yeah. Look, there you go. Top Gun. Yeah, I mean, some of these games bring back so many happy memories. It is unreal. I mean, the Dan Dare one, that's one I didn't get, and I knew I wanted it because I used to read the Eagle. But some of these, wow, these are all emulators. I'm saving this page. You can download them on the emulator. So guess what I'm going to do? I've got a lot of stuff to read and I've got a lot of stuff to play. I think the movies will be actually put aside. But
go.
What we're gonna what he's planning to watch? I know for Wednesday we are doing the Shawshank Redemption, and me and my wife are going to sit down on Monday night and watch it because it's one of her favourite movies. So the two of us are going to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, that is such a great movie.
Coming on, and she said no.
Oh,
she said
that's Marsport. Right, somebody's up.
That's right. The Captain, I remember that one. There's the Spectrum.
That's
My dad still had his ZX81 and his ZX Spectrum up in the loft. He does. Well, he doesn't now, obviously, now he's passed, but it was up in his loft, so God knows what happened to it.
Oh no, that's something. That's a similar one. That's not Mars Port. That's something else, but it's a similar graphics in that. Of course, there's not that many.
But the thing is, did you notice that anyway? A lot of the graphics was always similar because
Oh yeah,
you had the platforms, so you had Jet Set Willie, Manic Miner, and all that. They were all platformed, and it was effectively the character even looked identical. Because it's just the gameplay. There's a limit to what you could do. The character, there was wee bits here and there, it was different, but in effect, you still had the same issue. If you jumped through a door, if you walked down through the hole in the floor, it would take you onto a stair, and then you would walk down. But as soon as you walked in, sometimes you had to jump because there was something that killed you. Whereas if you in the previous floor you jumped and you landed there and you went into the loop going doing, and actually it took all your life because you come into the screen, fell down and get killed. Come into the screen, fell down, get killed, and that's it. So if you had the unlimited life cheat, you had to completely switch off your computer because there was no way out. Because the wee guy would just go doing, and that's all you did. So the unlimited life cheat. Not that I ever cheated. Not that I ever cheated once. Honest.
That's the level of graphics. Well, it's 480p, but
so basically it was high graphics for the time.
Yeah,
it was. Because I remember the ones like the car ones. The sound was, and that was it. It basically was just like somebody growling in the background, and then it was just the wee pixelated car that would go side to side, and then you would see the wee racing car thing go whoop, and it was just like it basically a cross with 2 extra bits at the bottom. It was meant to be a Formula One car, and the graphics were dire, but and it was basically the greatest thing since sliced bread. And nowadays, Doom, I remember playing Doom and thinking,
God, yeah.
This is absolutely amazing. You can even hide. You can get an invisibility thing, and it was only the eyes you would see floating around. The graphics in this are crazy. How could they do that?
Now, I know. How far we've come, I tell you.
Yeah.
But we were quite happy with those back in the day. They were great fun.
Oh, I loved Wolfenstein as well. I've still got a copy of Wolfenstein. I've got a copy of Wolfenstein on my emulator. I just love it. The wee Germans coming in. The blood everywhere. Duke Nukem. Did anybody ever play Duke Nukem trying to find the secret room? Because there was that point in Duke Nukem you would go into the porno section. And there would be bits as you were. I'm telling you, as kids, boys, you would go in playing Duke Nukem. You would go into the red light district, and you would go into the club. And in some of the walls, they had semi-naked dancers, right? And somebody says there's a secret room in there. If you go through, you get to see porn. And we spent months trying to it was an urban legend. It was an urban legend because they had that bit in there. People just assumed that if there's going to be a secret room, it's in there. It was never one, but I was when Duke Nukem I was playing. I was something like 11 or 12 or 13 or something like that. I was a horny kid, and somebody says you can see boobies. Yeah, hey! I'm spending the rest of my life looking for this room. You'll not see any girls, but I'll see boobies. And it was just that silly things that you think me, but I loved Duke Nukem and I loved Wolfenstein. And the first time I played Duke Nukem on multiplayer mode before I played Doom in multiplayer mode was amazing. But it was hard as hell because it was multiplayer, and if 3 or 4 people were in, it would go shoot. And that was it. Your character would hang and starting there because the server just couldn't take it. And it was fun. And else you would jump up, and if you jump up and got caught in something, it would hang in the air and go and just shake like that because you couldn't move back, move up, move down because he hung on just because the way you jumped, you got caught in something, and that's it. You were funny things used to happen way back then. Try to get into the network. Right, you run it via IP. What's IP mean? Oh, it's an internet IP. What does that mean? Oh, it's the numbers. You mean like my phone number? No, no, the number's not when you're dialing up and all this crap. You had no idea what they were talking about. You had to learn dialing up. If you go to this number, it takes you straight into this, and you can do this. And, oh, it's fun. But
Hacking dial-up.
oh god, war games. Happy project.
Oh
Add that to the
god,
list.
yeah, loved that film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say goodnight, lovely chaps. I'm starting to
problem.
fade here, getting a bit late for us. So, but thank you very much. Another
for joining us.
fantastic hangout. Really enjoyed it tonight.
Yep,
And
thank you for always making us seem. Well, actually, we are dumber than we look, but. But thank you
yes,
for
well, we all.
bringing the IQ of this stream up.
It's a good team. We got a great team here.
Yes, we definitely have.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Yep. Okay,
You have,
everybody.
have
care,
fun
Wins.
and take care.
Take care, Wendy.
Yep. Yep.
And stay
Good
cool.
night, everybody.
Stay cool. Stay cool.
What's that?
Stay
Stay
cool.
cool.
Stay cool. Yeah, I know. I'm in the coolest room in the house. We might sleep in here tonight, even though it's not
I'm
technically
sleeping in
a
the fridge
place.
tonight. I'm sleeping in the fridge tonight. That's it. I'm sleeping in the fridge.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday are definitely in the fridge. Yeah,
No, it's Monday, Tuesday.
for sure.
I've got the jacuzzi up and running. I'm going in there Monday, Tuesday. Monday
Yeah,
anyway.
put cold
I'm
water
off.
in it.
Fair
Yeah.
Monday. Fair Monday. I'm getting the jacuzzi.
Okay. Yeah, you guys take care. Keep cool. And I'll speak to you soon.
Take care,
Ta-ra.
Wendy.
Good night.
Right.
Bye.
Right.
And then there was 4.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So, what else has been happening out in the world there? What have you been doing? What have you planning? What is planning to get up to geeky wise?
Well, we've got a show coming up in the future, haven't we, Colin?
Yeah, you've got the unloaded. What's actually the topic in that one? Because the last one obviously
What,
was
Unplugged number 5? With innuendos.
And your who what else?
Yeah, innuendos, you know.
As I said, and your who what else?
Yes, good point.
It's funny how innuendo is an innuendo in itself.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk about that. See how many Colin can come up with it on that night.
You have to do Chick Murray then.
Oh, yeah.
I was walking along a road in my kilt. What the road was doing in my kilt, I have no idea. I walked up and the guy was actually taking the gate off. I didn't want to say anything in case he took offence. I was eating a biscuit and the woman said, "Could you throw my dug a bit?" So I picked it up and threw it across the road. Went into the bank, the guy says, "Have you any proof it's you?" And he took out a mirror and says, "Yep, that's me." Chick Murray used to do all those. He would do things, and his innuendos were as good as stuff like that because he would take words literally, and you could see the fun. Hector Nichols, another one, he would do it as well.
You just start
Like
playing
for
that.
instance, the Hector Nichols one was the Chinese girl. She had to lie down to get her O level. He used to do. He would do a lot of jokes. Says, doesn't matter if you're French, German, when you're in the toilet, European. Hector Nicole and these guys used to take the innuendo and they would take just exactly as it sounds and then they would twist it
Save
to
them
make
for
it
the
sound exactly what it meant
for
to be.
the show, DJ. Save them for the show.
Eh?
Save them for the show. Yeah.
What's the temperatures? Mine's has actually been okay. It's been a bit warm today, so it wasn't that hot. When we were in the car, it was hotter, but obviously out and about, it was actually okay.
It's about 27 where I am, and I think it might be going into the 40s or something for the next 3 days. I don't know yet.
Well, I heard even up here it's getting hotter, but I was floating about with a fleece on today. It's not as if, and I was feeling warm, but it wasn't as if I was that hot. I couldn't wear it. I did take it off after a while because it was I was in the car as well, so getting in and out of the car, and the car was melting. The
It's a
car was
shame I don't have enough
oh,
money for a train ticket. I'll be straight up yours tomorrow for the next 3 days.
it is cool, but accordingly, it's meant to be getting really hot up here, and Monday and Tuesday especially.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
mean, remember the Scots
yeah.
actually see the sun; they think it's a newspaper. You know what I mean? That's why they're all wearing ginger hair. That's why you never see a Scotsman with a tan. He's either burnt or he's white. He's pink because I've had one of those a couple of those tans, and I've got a sallow skin, being half tally. I'm not a peely wally tally. I used to take a bit of a tan, but even I used to go pink if it was too warm. We're not used to the sun up here.
No.
No.
Yeah.
What's that, big brights? Don't worry, son. We'll tell you about it if it ever happens again. You know what I mean? The day when the big ball in the sky burnt you out. Oh, you mean last Saturday when it was sunny? It's the same. It's the same as in the Bible. They say it rained for 40 days and 40 nights in Jerusalem. This is how they were going to do it in Scotland, but people actually thought 40 days and 40 nights was a dry spell. 99 degrees. 37 Celsius. My God. That's basically, see, when we get to that weather, we turn the bacon over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, instead of actually having the frying pan out, we just get a rock and just do the. Yeah, I mean, wow. I'm no one for the heat. I'm no one for the hot weather at all. I stay in the shade. I stay in the house. I very rarely go and sit out the back. And if I do, it's in the shade. I'm not one for the sun. I'm not a sun worshipper. I'm more the herald. Sorry, 2 newspapers in the UK for anybody in the States listening to that. That was a joke. It went over everybody's head. But most of my jokes go over everybody's head. You know what I mean? Nearest I get to a joke is I sit next to it in the bus.
Oh dear.
I know, really bad. Really bad. My jokes are absolutely terrible. But so let's see. That's what my planet. Tuesday's going to be a good one. I've got Monday off because in Scotland we get Glasgow we get the fair Monday. The Glasgow fair was a big holiday. Mostly it's faded out now because you don't get it. When I was growing up, when I was working for my father, my grandfather's business, we didn't get 24 days that you could take throughout any time of the year. We got October week, we got the fair fortnight, and we got the September weekend. Sorry, not the October week. It was the Easter week, the fair fortnight, and the September weekend. That was our holidays for the year. We also got off at Christmas, so you didn't get to say, "Well, we're going to here in the second, first, third day of that month, and could we get 2 days off here because we've got another 14 days to take, and we'll take a day here and 4 days there." We didn't get that. You got your holidays. That was the holidays. If you were going to fly out and you couldn't wait until the Monday because it's cheaper if we flying out on the Friday, they'll say, "I no problem, fly out on the Friday, but you're not getting the September weekend off." It's the way it went. So things like that. So the fair was always a big thing, but I get the fair Monday because our company still got it on their list because it was a Glasgow company. I've got Monday off, so I'm so looking forward to just relaxing Monday. We watch Shawshank Redemption. Tuesday, a couple of my friends are coming down from Aberdeen, not seen them for a while, and we're going out to play Magic because these are guys that were in our Magic group and we've not played Magic for a while. So we're all going to get together on Tuesday night and sit and play Magic. And I'm so looking forward to it. I need to dig out my Magic and I need to learn how to play again. And you saying that, even if I don't learn how to play, I'll still get beat the exact same way as I used to get beat when I did learn how to play. I'm not what you class as a good player.
I've never gone into Magic.
Oh, I love it. It's basically fun when you've got a group. I mean, I've played with groups that get a bit too serious into it. I like ones that can have fun. They don't. They're not constantly out there to constantly win. No, I don't. If you're having fun playing a game, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, as long as you're having fun. And that's the way I look at it. But I've played with people who are so focused in winning that the game's no fun, and I
Can
would
you
rather
play it
have
when
fun.
you play it when you're blind drunk?
I've never played it when I'm blind drunk because usually I'm driving, so I'm totally sober. So but that's what I'm doing on Tuesday. So I'm so looking forward to that. Nightwind, thank you again for
Thank
joining.
you.
So, what else? What's anybody else up for? Anything good on it? Let's go back a bit. Anybody watch the Orville?
No.
I haven't watched the last 2 episodes.
Well, see, I've not watched the most recent one. The last episode before, it turned me off the Orville. So it did. It just turned me off. I've seen a few people have got similar reactions to it,
Yeah,
and I've seen some people said the same thing, but they're still watching it to see if it gets any better. And an episode where, in effect, they say you can't change the timeline, then they go back and change the timeline.
I know.
Annoys me because they said to Gordon, "You can't change the timeline. That you don't know how it's going to affect it. So, see your son and your wife who's pregnant. We're going to come back, take you away, so they don't exist." And I thought, oh my god, I thought this was going to be a way Gordon, the guy who played Gordon, was leaving. Maybe he was leaving,
Yeah.
and I was expecting it. This would have been a good way for him leaving. And then they went back and basically dragged him away. And I thought maybe he's still going to be leaving, but he's going to be leaving so he can come back maybe as a baddie because they killed my kid. They did. No, they had a let's have a drink. You remember? I'm glad you did that. That would have been really silly of me. But they said right at the beginning, he gets his a sandwich and they send it back 5 seconds into the past. And he says, "Well, what if we don't put that in?" He says, "You can't because it would cause a paradox and it could change or no, make an alternate world." And I thought, right, so they've set up their plans. So 6 months after he was on in the past, he sent a message. So they went back, but they missed it by 10 years. So they're in 2025 and he's married, he's got kids, and he's living his life. But they already knew that because they checked their historical database and he died at 96 in the past. So he's already part of their history. But times in flux and all these things could all clash in and one has to be set. So they go back in time. They go back in time. And then he doesn't want to come back and he threatens to kill them. And he says if they come after him, what he's going to do is disappear and they'll never find him. So they just go back into the future without him. So they say they get the stuff they need to get the ship working, and they say to him, "Well, we're going to go back another 10 years and pick you up before you did this." So in effect, he's going, "Don't do it, Ed. That's my kid. Don't do it. You're going to kill him. Don't do it." And he does it. And then they tell him, and he's okay. No problem. That was a good thing you did. But they said to him, "We're going to go back," and accordingly, then they were talking to him, and he says, "Yeah, I was only there a month." So they said you can't change history. And then they go back to a month after they landed, 5 months prior to him sending the message. So they're going on at him about changing the timeline, and they change the timeline, and he's the bad. And he and the three of them all have a big drink and a nice, aren't we great because we didn't change the timeline? So basically, you murdered 2 kids, but you're happy with it, and you're going to have a drink. And I just went, nope. See the disgusting people who actually thought that was a good ending. I'm out. And that was it. I just the time before the Topa one, where there was a case of they can interfere with your family, and it doesn't matter what you as a parent think. I don't like the Clyden character. he's designed not to be a likable character because he's meant to be the xenophobic. He's meant to be very all about him and his family, and he tries to bully Bortus because he doesn't like Bortus changing from being a standard Mockman. He's meant not to be like, but if you can make me agree with him, then you've done something wrong. And it was the whole attitude is, we're going to tell your kid what your kid should do, and we're going to give them the information you, as a parent, have decided they shouldn't know. And they're the good ones. And it's a case of,
I had this discussion with the rabbi when he before I'd actually seen the episode. And I haven't changed my mind. I actually still don't. I think you can take it one of two ways, because bearing in mind that at one point they said, "Look, all we're doing is we're just undoing what was done to her when she was born."
Yeah, but I understand. It's a transitioning, not a transitioning. Yeah, I understood where they were going, because people saying it's a transitioning story. It's a detransitioning story.
Yeah.
That part makes zero difference to me. It's the fact is they overruled the parents' decision.
Well, they
basically interfered, and as if they're doing the right thing, it's the parents that are wrong. Even if one of the parents, and to me, that is a parental decision. Both parents, not the one who they agree with, they side with, not, and that's what I hated about it. If they can get me to agree with Clyden, that they can interfere with your family based on the fact is they agree with the other side, and they think you're wrong because you don't agree with them.
I think they actually. I mean, it's difficult. I think they may be trying to tell a good story.
The girl who played Topa was absolutely amazing. She was a superb actress, and it did have a feel-good ending, but it was the message I hated. So the story was a good story, but the girl who played Topa was fucking great as the male Topa, and then the female Topa.
I said to someone, I'm actually interested. I'm actually getting vibes from some of these ones similar to Starship Troopers, in that I'm almost beginning to wonder if, like, Verhoeven made Starship Troopers wanting to make something, and because he'd never read the book, didn't understand the book, he made something completely different. He didn't make another. I'm almost beginning to wonder if Seth MacFarlane's trying to make these things, but he's actually making them because we know he's a lefty. But he's actually tried to, but he's making his own information. But the thing is, he's doing that, but he's doing it in ways which don't act, because he doesn't understand people who don't agree with him.
That's it. That's exactly.
He doesn't realise. I mean, there's a bit in the previous episode, the supposed anonymity. Not being an American, I didn't see a massive amount of Trump rallyism. But the one before, there's the one bit where they're talking about abortion.
Yeah.
And they show what happens to people who abort children. Basically,
they bring them face to face with the kid.
And that was faced as, you see Ed's reaction. It's horrible. No, that is the left's disliking of having to actually face consequences or actually explain themselves. That's what I thought. That was also came across.
Yeah, but there's also the aspect of it is that as well. He saw that was horrible. Then he saw his daughter, and he decided to write her letters, even though she might not see them for years. Then the next episode, they go back and kill two of Gordon's kids and think that's a good thing. So you have just found out you've got a kid, and you're happy about it, and you're wanting to actually, even though you can't be involved, you want to let her know that you've been thinking about her, so you're constantly writing letters. But you're happy to go back and say to Gordon, see your two kids, we're going back, so they're never born. That's why it was disgusting. The ones building up to it, and then that one finally. And I this current one is accordingly no different. I never watched it, but accordingly, it's no different because there's a race who are a matriarchal society, and they don't agree with males. Males are there for pleasure, and they do what they're told. So all the males on the crew have to act this particular way for all the females, but none of the females did that for the Motlins because
That's
that
going
was
to
an
be.
all-male society. Maybe because they didn't have any females. So, but the fact is, because this was a female-led society, all the guys has. And I'm sitting, and somebody said, "Well, what if it was a patriarchal society that all women were subservient? Would they actually do that to bring them in? Because in effect, what they're doing is all the guys are pretending to be subservient to the women, so the people will join. And as soon as those people join and say, "Ha, we've got you," none. These are actually the guys in charge. Those women aren't. What does that tell you? It's a case of we'll do whatever we want to get you in, and as soon as you're in,
Exactly.
we'll get you to change your attitude to
Hmm.
match what we think. And that's the left, and the previous 3 episodes were a slippery slope to the last one, and I've not watched this one, and I've no intention of watching it.
I
It
might
is
watch it.
horrible.
As I say, I haven't watched the time travel one yet.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's
Yeah,
nice.
Matthew, it sounds very much like 2022.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Right, guys, I am actually going to go because I do
Yeah,
need to
we're
get
going
some.
to finish up. I think we'll finish up in the next minute or so anyway.
All right.
But thank you very much, Colin, for joining us and keeping us educated as always.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Jacob, thank you for joining us, and see you later.
See you on,
And Matt,
guys.
thank you for joining. Right,
Colin's
so
gone.
what we'll do is we'll round up. What's happening on your channel in the next few wee while out?
Okay, not this week, but the week after, because we put it back a week, we are doing Unplugged number 5. And we'll be talking about innuendos, and we go from there.
So I'll not make the innuendo joke again.
Well, save them.
Save them. Yeah. Yeah, I still find it an innuendo is a innuendo because it's innuendo. I always found that funny.
Yes.
But yeah.
Well, at the moment, I've created also, we'll be showing the new opening, and also we'll be bringing up the new, well, not new logo, but let's just say we are redesigned it to make it look better.
Yeah,
So,
good.
PJ, I'll send you a copy of that.
Perfect. I've not actually. I've been meaning to do something like that, but I was talking to Jim about my intro. I've still got the proof of concept. I've just not gotten around to doing a proper one. Because to do a proper one, I have to take my camera,
Yeah.
set it all up in a different place, have it all blocked off, and then I have to take a load of my gear out of here and work out how I'm going to actually do it. And then I have to cut the video down so it's basically it does what I want it to do. So there is a proof of concept up my channel. It needs to be cut down to a lot less than the time it's in. I think it's a minute and a half. It needs to be cut down, which means I need to do it differently. And then the thing is, you can see it's a proof of concept. It's the graphics it's quite grainy, and you can see me moving a bit in the background because I've not got it blocked off properly. So I was talking to Jim about that, and we're something I'm wanting to do, and I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I've got so many things I want to include in it. Am I going to get the time? I don't know.
That'd be great to see once it's done.
Yeah, it's bits and pieces from my collection, just as a build up intro or outro, depending on how it's going. So, but it's just one of those things. There's so much I want to do, and it's so much I can't do because I've not got the skill, and I definitely don't have the bloody time.
Well, I will be designing your new Let's Talk Geeky logo probably about September onwards, but at the moment I'm still waiting on my new PC.
Yeah, it's getting a new PC. I've dug out my laptop because when I got my machine, I bought myself a backup laptop, an i7 16 gig, big fancy fast laptop, just as a backup. So I take it out every so often, make sure it's up to date, and then put it back in the box. I need to actually get it out and install the software, copy my passwords and my links across to it. So if anything happens to this one, I can just switch that one on and away I go. But that's how bad it was because mine kept crashing the last time. I had to purchase a new one. I thought I'm getting a backup, and I bought an i7 backup. I bought an i7 PC, two of them, just to make sure I had the right setup, just in case. My wife needs a laptop, so I got a laptop, but she didn't get my good. Terrible. I kept the two i7s and gave her an i5. That's what happens. The i5 is all she needs. It's the only word in internet she's doing that. The rest of it is unimportant. I will do the rest. But don't tell her. I'm keeping it quiet.
Oh, yes.
I know. So what we'll do, ladies and gents, boys and girls, lads and lassies, we'll finish off there. And we'll not do a riddle me this. I love my riddler. Woo-hoo. So, ladies and gents, thank you for joining us. I don't know if Jim's fallen asleep. If he's half shut.
Jim.
Or he's away having something to eat. Because he's been a busy boy. So he may have just fallen asleep. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, thank you for joining us. Remember, I'm not old, I'm classic. Me and the guys like to say goodbye. So, bye, lads.